We'll start it off then. Welcome everybody, Mokoko Cast 11. Welcome Roxx. Thank you so much for being here with us today.
Thanks for having me. Yeah, I'm actually really excited. It's nice to like be a person and talk to people. I don't know, like I'm so used to just like tweeting or messaging people, so it's cool to like actually talk to people.
Yeah, and it's we're very excited to have you here. We've been chatting about this the last couple weeks, like truly excited. Thank you, Laufie, for being here and setting this whole thing up.
Yes, I'm happy to be here as always.
And thank you, Rufio, for being here as well. Your
Always
presence
a
is
pleasure.
always appreciated. By the way,
Thank you,
Rufio
Pete.
has new plants, everybody. We'll get into that
Me,
later.
Elvis?
Uh Friends, today our main goal is to get to know Roxx as a person rather than as a computer entity on the other side of your computer typing back to you. Like a cosplayer, a cat mom, community manager. We want to know more about her. This isn't just Lost Ark. We'll get into Lost Ark, a lot of Lost Ark. Don't worry, we have a ton of questions. We have like 50 questions lined up, and that's almost not an exaggeration. But we'd like to introduce the community of Lost Ark to the face behind the discussion boards, the forums, the community manager that has left the player base on the edge of their seats, seething for an ounce of information regarding our beloved game Lost Ark. Moreover, with our podcast being scheduled just days away from the launch, we would also like to obtain as much information as we can, but we don't want to pry too much here. Like, obviously, there's been a lot of information that has come out. We've got a few questions to hopefully wet the whistle before we actually get in game in less than 2 days. So, thank you all for being here. Thank you for your time. You are wonderful human beings. Thank you. Thank you. And we'll pass it over to Laufie.
Thank you, DJ. Hi, Rox. Thank you so much for being here. I'm really happy that this worked out for everybody.
Thanks. I'm like,
With
it's
the
okay. I'm glad to be here. Thank you guys.
Yeah, so I've got a list of questions that was given to me, approved and everything. So I want to start off by just kind of passing the ball to you and asking the first hard-hitting question. Who who is Rox? Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Oh man, see, this was like the worst one when I was like thinking about it. Like, I don't know how to answer this. I'm just so bad at answering this. I'm Roxanne, I guess that's my actual name. Other name I go by is like any variation of the Roxx, but like Twitter handle's Roxxlyy. Like I just ended up doing Roxx on the forums because it's way easier. But my name's Roxanne. Obviously, I'm the current community manager for Lost Ark. This is I've worked at a couple different game studios before. My first experience working on games was actually on MMOs. So I've worked on MMORPGs before, a couple of different ones. And then I spent a few years doing work on like bigger indie games. And then when this job popped up, I was kind of like, itching to get back into those. Like, I really missed working on MMOs. So when this popped up, I was like, interesting opportunity. That's kind of how I ended up here. One thing kind of led to another, and now I'm working on Lost Ark. So yeah, video games have always been like a pretty it's something I'm pretty into. Like I think a lot of people that end up in the games industry. Like I've always played games since I was a kid. Personally, I'm a little bit more. I did grow up on MMOs. Nowadays, I'm a little bit more casual just because like time constraints. I like relaxing when I play games a little more. But MMOs have that like special place in my heart, and they're one of my favorite types of games to work on. So I'm very happy to
Same.
be here.
Hell yeah. That's
So
Oh, go ahead,
go
Laufie.
ahead,
Go ahead. No,
DJ.
you go. You do your thing.
Well, besides being a girl in a gaming kind of sphere, what is something that people seem to misunderstand a lot about you?
Um, I'm like so used to being referred to as like a guy. I just like don't even notice anymore. I don't know. Like, Lucky, you've probably like been through that too. Like, I
Oh
don't even
yeah.
know. Like, it's not relevant. But it always makes me laugh a little bit. This is kind of a side note, but I remember really early on when I first started working on this game, like everyone just assumed I was a dude. and someone like had corrected someone on Reddit, and they got downvoted like into oblivion. I was like, oh my god. It was pretty funny, but like it doesn't phase me for the most part. So I guess besides that, I think a lot of people kind of expect me to be a lot more serious than I am. Like obviously when I'm posting on the forums or whatever, like I'm gonna try to be straight to the point, just get people information like they want, they need, clear as possible. Be straightforward about it. But like I'm I obviously I'm gonna be professional in a professional setting, but I don't know, if you go on my Twitter, like I'm a little bit unhinged.
I
Like
mean, that's
I'm
Twitter,
a
right?
Right.
yeah, like I'm very
After a
much like
long day.
not a serious person. Like I can be when I need to be, but like I would much rather be like joking around most of the time.
Yeah.
Like obviously I only do when it's appropriate because it's my job, but like I am more often not serious than I am serious, like in my personal life, and I think a lot of people like don't really realize or expect that.
We're here for a good
So
time,
far,
not a
yeah.
long time. That's the rules.
Yeah,
True.
Like,
No, I love every announcement that you guys do. I love going to your Twitter because I'm like, oh, she's gonna hit us with some details. Like, we're gonna see what it's really like. We're all screaming hype, like we want the game, and you're like, 14 hours of answering questions today, and I just want a glass of
but like
wine
I
and a
gotta
burrito.
no, literally, like I gotta be able to like laugh about it too. Like
Yeah, absolutely.
also like
Mm.
everything like Laufie tweets is like something I wish I could tweet. So like if you want to know what's actually going on in my brain, like
Hit Laufey's feed.
like your desire for
Actually
his
unhinged.
hiring and everything. I'm like, oh my god, I wish I could do that myself. So you know,
love it.
a little bit
Love
more
it.
accurate.
Well, so how
I'm
does
gonna call you out like that.
Laufey's Twitter is pretty good. It's pretty spiced up.
Every time there's something on there that makes me laugh, I'm like, this is literally like same, like same. But
So how does the launch of Lost Ark compare to other projects you've worked on in the past?
well, ask me this again on Tuesday. No, no, but it's been so I think there's just a lot of different challenges. This is the first time I've worked with another like another publisher in a different country. I've always worked with like in-house publishers.
Mm.
Not necessarily Lost Ark specific, but now we were talking about this a little bit earlier before we even started. Like
Mhm.
we've been stuck at home. The team's stuck at home. I actually am at the point where I really miss being in an office. I think we were even saying it when it started. I'm like I miss talking to people. There's a lot of things that I like working in an environment where it's easy. Like I'm just gonna go walk up to this person's desk, and now it's like I'm gonna send this person a Slack message, like whatever. And then I don't know, like obviously too, this game has been out in other places for so long. Like you guys have all been playing for a while, and it's a little bit newer to me. So all these things are kind of like new things I haven't experienced in a game launch before. So they've been like a little bit different, a little bit challenging. But overall, like I'm just really looking forward to getting it out there.
Mhm.
And yeah, hopefully this week goes smooth. Like there's people online this weekend making sure everything's in place. So we'll see. It's been a long road and definitely a little bit new, but it does parts of it do feel like familiar from my prior time working on MMOs. So that's been nice too. Like I'm definitely more experienced than I was back when I did that like 4 or 5 years ago. So
Mm.
that's also nice.
Rufio's muted. Like,
Sorry.
just watch you
My
start
bad.
talking, and I'm like, wait a
Right?
moment.
Sorry, no, I'm trying to be professional. As a community manager, you are responsible for delivering and executing the best social media and digital marketing strategy for your game, which you've done a very phenomenal job. Your forum presence is absolutely amazing.
Yeah,
So thank you
you're
for that.
incredible.
Um, with the goal of fostering a healthy community and helping and extending their gamers' experience in game and out, how do you think you've done thus far with the Lost Ark community? And is there anything you would have changed?
So I kind of don't. A lot of people think I'm not trying to joke. That was very funny. Sorry, it's Sunday. I'm tired.
Yeah, we're all
Um,
chilling. We've had a glass of wine. We're good. Everybody's fine.
no, but so we have like a social. A lot of people think I am the Lost Ark Twitter. That is not me. We actually have a social media team. I do kind of like help them out when it comes to certain content, vetting certain content, getting like temp checks on the community, all that stuff. And we have a separate marketing team as well. I kind of work with them in the same capacity, being like, okay, let's like make sure this content like squares up, whatever. Kind of providing assistance, but it's definitely not just me.
Okay.
So that's part of it. It is like a wider team. I think overall what the main part of my role that people will see publicly is kind of like facilitating communications and back and forth, whether that's between like players and us, or production and players, or us and players and Smilegate. So those are kind of the more of the things I do. I'm it's taken some time to kind of find out because these are new teams. I haven't been well, it's been longer now, but I think I started this job about 8 months ago. So it's definitely taken some time to figure out the best way to deliver that information, especially when you have so many different audiences. Like how it works best to talk to players, how it works best to talk to people internally. Like what's the best way to present this information? Like some people want to talk in a meeting and get on a call. Some people just want like a report. Some people want to read it in a different format. So that's definitely something that I would say, instead of like anything I would have changed, that still has been changing, and that we've been trying to like work out just to make it as efficient as possible. So that's still something that like I'll keep doing over time, for sure.
Okay.
And then I mean, obviously we want to just keep improving like transparency where we can, turnaround times where we can, like there's always stuff that could be a little bit better. And I think I think that'll be true for any game ever. Like
Yeah.
you always just want
Yeah,
to do a
makes
little bit
sense.
better.
Definitely makes
You
sense.
guys do a fantastic job, by the way. Like so far being in this community and like seeing what you guys do. You guys are definitely trying as hard as you can with what options you have available, and
Yeah,
it's
and
really good to see.
I think that's something too. Like there's always going to be part, like, right, when we have to get feedback from Smilegate. Well, they're in Korea. Like there's always going to be a time difference to deal with, different kinds of challenges like that. And what I've tried to do is, at least it doesn't always feel good to be like, hey, I'll get back to you on this, but like and like I know, like I think someone was like joking about it the other day because I say that all the time, but it's like, hey, like I want you to know, like it is, we're working on it, but the reality is sometimes it just like can't be instant, and it's going
Mm,
to take a little bit of time. So like just trying to, keep players in the loop as much as possible with just like, hey, like sometimes it's going to take time. Sometimes it's going to, like, I'll let you know, I'll keep you posted, but it's not always going to be like super fast.
mm,
Yeah, honestly, I've been through several MMO launches in my life, and like in this one, like I don't know how people are criticizing Amazon for not being transparent or not being communicative enough, because
yeah.
this has been the most communicative I've seen a developer, or rather a publisher, be of an
Well, I'm
MMO
happy to
from
hear that.
all
And
the ones.
and yeah, it's a yeah. Sorry, I was just like, I'm happy to hear that.
Well, yeah, it's yeah, I mean, we definitely appreciate it, and that's why one of the many reasons why we asked you to be here with us today is because
Mhm.
you've just been so amazing at
Thanks.
delivering information. And
I like this podcast.
This is the Gas Up Rocks podcast.
Right?
I'll come back next week. Um, but no,
well,
I am. We're definitely trying, even if it doesn't always. You don't see it instantly. You can't always tell. It's like there's always work going on.
Good.
Like,
yeah.
Yeah, it makes sense. I can always assume it's the same thing in like any business, right? When someone submits a problem to you, it takes time. You've got to escalate to the appropriate parties. They've got to really delve into what the actual issue is and get some analytics behind it before they can just, at the snap of a
yeah,
finger.
and that's what's interesting about video games too, especially like as we transition to live service, is like you have people in here like using your product now, like in real time, and like totally understand. Like
Mhm.
obviously we want to address whatever as fast as possible too, but you know, uh, oftentimes the much more realistic and smarter in the long run route is like, okay, let's make sure we get everyone on board, like make sure we talk to everyone we need to, even if it takes a little bit longer. Like we'd rather be, do it right than do it quick.
Mhm. That's good to hear.
Yeah, that's a good approach. You mentioned that MMOs are your favorite genre, and I'm sure that's part of like why you're so passionate about your job. But if you could think of a couple other reasons to share, like what motivates you to be so good at what you do, aside from just loving the project and loving games in general.
I mean, like, honestly, okay. Well, I think that's just a lot of it, right? Because, like I said, like, I've been playing games since I was a kid.
Mm.
Like, I went to college. Like, I don't know what I wanted to do when I was in college. No one knows. And I was like, video games are still really cool. And my mom was like, go get a job in tech. And I was like, no, I want to play video games. So, and I did, which was awesome. And she's like, she thinks I'm cool now, so it worked out.
Mm.
But like, point being, like, I've always just been like, I don't know what I want to do, but like, video games are super important to me. Like, they're super fun for me. Like, just brings me joy. So just like overall, it is because I just like love what I do, and I know I'm really lucky. I've also been always kind of been I'm pretty ambitious and like motivated as a person. Like that's I don't know if that's like a weird thing to say, but like that is like one of my kind of personality traits is like I've always been like one of the reasons I wanted to come back to MMOs is because there's always something going on. There's always stuff to do. There's always tons of players, and like I love like just having things to do and like getting in there and doing things. So that's part of it. It just like works well with me. Like it's not to say there aren't days where I'm like tired and kind of burnt out, but for the most part, I'm just like, wow, my job's video games. Like hell yeah, like a good. I want to keep doing this. Like it's just fun. I love it. And it's cool.
I think.
Like I know that
Mm,
sounds like a cop out, but
No, no.
No, I mean, I totally agree as well. Like I like working with video games has always been like my dream. So between like casting tournaments and doing streams, that's like I already feel lucky, even though it's not like my job or whatever. But I totally understand where you're coming from. Definitely not a cop out.
yeah,
We're
I
all
think it'd
passionate about it.
be hard. Did I mute myself?
No,
No?
you're
no,
good.
you're
No, you're
good.
Okay.
We can hear you.
I did when I drank water, and then I was like,
good.
I lost the
Good.
tab. No, I think you'd be hard pressed to find someone that works in video games that like doesn't care about them or
Yeah.
love it because it's such, whether it's because the industry is super competitive or working in video games can be a very different experience. If you're not super into them, like I think most of the people that end up like you have to love it.
True.
Yeah, it's one of those like I work in the world of I work in the tech industry now, and one of the things is like that I love about my job is like it's an ever changing market. Every time you come in, every day there's something new usually, right? And with video games, I feel like every second there's something new. If it's not like you know information that people are wanting, or teasers that you're putting out, or in-game events or something like that, there's just always there's always something new. So it's never like especially as a community manager, I can't imagine every day looks the same for you outside of staring at the same like forums and discussion boards. But like I can just imagine like behind the scenes that it's a constant change. So that's
Yeah, for
definitely, I can
sure.
respect it.
I mean, being passionate about video gaming, you're not just looking at just your game, right? You're looking at the scope of games in general coming out, like stuff you're excited for, and then looking at how like everyone else in the industry is reacting around you. It's something like that's not always an industry or something that people get to enjoy in their industry. I know like
Mhm.
as a DJ, I have like a very select few DJs that I interact with on a daily basis. And like unless I go hunting, it's like you don't interact with like a lot of DJs. You don't see a lot of sets or anything like that. So it's very different when it comes to gaming. Also, very passionate about video gaming. So, but I was gonna ask, what's been your most challenging moments as CM so far?
Ah, so I think for me, like if I was to think about like one moment specifically, it's probably that the first real piece of news I had to give to the community was like, "Hey, we're delaying this game."
Oh, oh,
I had
Ooh.
been because that was not too long after I had started. I had started and I was onboarding, and then I kind of started diving in a little bit, slowly, just as I got used to the new job. And then it was like, aren't we supposed to have like a beta? Aren't we supposed to have a launch date? And then all of a sudden it was like, we're delaying the game. And I was like, cool, this is going to be like the most I've talked about this game since I started, which was definitely not ideal. It was like, it was also very understandable that I had barely integrated myself into this community, like just started showing up, and then I was like, "Hey, here's some awful news," and people were very upset. Like understandably, that was not great. But you know, that was like a very, I think at that time too, um, like I mean, I don't think Lost Ark had a previous like dedicated community manager, as far as I'm aware. That's what I was hired to do. So I had just been, you know, coming in. It was like a pretty low moment. That was like not a fun place to be starting a new job at, but I was like, okay, like we're really gonna work to like build up trust here now. Like it's gonna take a while, especially from where we are now. But I hope that I have been able to do that a little bit over the last few months after that. At least if you're starting that low, right? You can only go
You can
up.
only go up.
But
I
it
feel
was
like you did a great job.
I am attempting. I hope people trust me more now than they did last summer. So
I mean, with what you guys finally announced, that tier 3 being available, like, yeah, we get it now. Like, we get why you guys
Yeah.
had to delay.
No,
And
100%.
and I know that's been like a hot topic too,
of
but
course. But how much when you guys are working in the industry, it's really hard to be able to divulge that much information when you guys aren't certain of deadlines, certain of what can be accomplished, right?
it is extremely like, I don't want to say it is extremely day by day, but like game development, just like as a general rule, is like very fluid. Like I think you'll find that if you talk to any developer anywhere. And then you know we're delaying a game, we're making new choices, we're selecting a new date, and then it's like, okay, here's our time frame. We have to get stuff. Like let's lock stuff down. Um, One of the things that's like kind of important to remember, I guess, just as a general note, is like it will be a live service game, so we can keep making changes. We can keep like altering things. We can keep learning and changing different things that don't work out or things that really do work out. Whatever, like we will have some of that time, but yeah, there's you know a lot going on in the time between launch or between when that delay happened and now is about to be launched. There's always a lot going on.
So that kind of brings me into my next question, because you're talking about like the low points, but like how do you manage that kind of like almost toxicity when it comes to like just this whole thing, like this whole industry, like the community's toxicity to a certain extent, and the gaming industry?
Yeah, I mean, like I it's taken me a long time to be like when I started my first job, I was super sensitive to it. Like it can be a lot, and I think that's you know, not all the time. Honestly, the Lost Ark community is pretty cool, all things considered, especially for like a huge MMO community, like
Mhm.
that many people. Like y'all have been really cool.
Well, thank you.
But like I I think it's just like, you know, part of anything, part of any video game, you'll see it anywhere. So I guess part of it is like, first of all, like you kind of have to learn, even if it feels like people are directing it at you, it's not about you. Even if they try to devolve it and make it about you, they don't really know you. Like it's not about you. It's about the game, and it's about what they care about, you know. Um, so that's like important. The other thing I've tried to get a lot better at, which is going out the window for launch week next week, is is like reminding myself I'm a person, and like kind of being able like at night or whatever to disengage on the weekends. Like you might not see me on the weekends on the forums, and like I'm not gonna be sorry about it because I need to be a person first, and there's
Mm,
times where I need to kind of like separate myself and like you know go do something else and like go outside or
right.
whatever it is, you know, just to take a break because those breaks are super important and super healthy. And you know, before when I first started CMing, I was so like I'm still fairly active on Twitter and stuff. Like I'll reply over the weekends, but like I would get messages or whatever over the weekend, and it's like, I have to respond to this right now. And like, obviously, I always want to give, the quickest answer possible, but it's like, okay, if I keep doing that forever, I'm going to burn out. Everybody's going to have a bad time, like
Yeah.
it's much more important to be like, hey, I work a primarily 40-hour work week job. Like, I'm going to do what I do in that time. And there are going to be times when I'm just going to log off and like, take a moment, step back, whether it's, toxicity, whatever, or just like needing a moment, because nobody wants to work 24/7.
Yeah.
It helps like a lot.
And just remind
Yeah.
yourself that you're human. It's important.
Yeah. And then like too, like I understand like, people play video games on the weekends because they have
Mm.
their own jobs and would rather hear things on the weekends, but it's like right now that my schedule is to not work weekends. So
Yeah.
like I'm not gonna stress out about it. Like if something pops up and I can handle it, it's fine. But if I have plans, like I'm not gonna stress myself out over it. And like if there's backlash, like that's okay. It's not about me.
Mm.
Especially with working from home, I bet that like
Yeah.
that line kind of blurs a lot.
For
Like you're not
sure.
in the
I have
office.
I'm at my like nice PC right now, but I have my work desk is like in the corner. So I try to just like, keep
That's
it in
good.
there.
You got some separation going
Yeah,
there.
I
Yeah.
tried. I
That's smart.
tried.
You try, yeah. At least there's something, right? Well, I did notice that, like, I mean, especially over, I don't know what your schedule looked like in, like, during the closed beta, but I know, like, you and me have communicated a lot, and sometimes, like, at midnight, so I was like, she's just doing us a favor at this point.
Mhm.
Like,
I don't sleep very well, but I need to try to fix that.
yeah, so thank you, by the way, for that. For those that don't know, I've been communicating during the closed beta with Roxanne about the bugs, and like she helped us like tremendously
That was
make the
incredible.
tournament happen. Yeah, so with that being said, like you respond to people on Twitter, you respond to people on the forums all the time. Sometimes you have to like to the point where you have to like back yourself up from it. um how often do you find yourself like with all those responses just coming out of like a good place in your heart, like out of your goodwill and passion for the game? How often are you quoted out of context
Oh.
in those cases?
um, you know, there's like some level of awareness that I always kind of have that's like anything I say to anyone about my job like might end up somewhere else. So I try to like keep that in mind. Like even if it's like a private message, whatever. But like honestly, not too often. It has happened like a couple times and like I've gotten backlash for it, but it was like okay, like I know what I meant. Like that's the other thing too is like that can be difficult is people read into messages differently, especially when it's just like text on a screen. Because there have been times where I've been like, this deviates a little bit, but I like respond to someone and they're like, "Oh God, I'm so sorry," and I'm like, "No, it's fine. I'm just like, giving you the answer like straight up. Like I don't mind." So like it doesn't happen too much. It can happen, like just things getting misconstrued. And like I try to clarify if I can, but for the most part, it's like, I know it's gonna happen. If someone's going out of their way to intentionally make a big deal out of it, they're probably not going to be super receptive to clarifications anyway. So I'll like clarify if I can, and then it kind of is what it is. Like if people don't like the clarification, it's out of context. Like I'm not gonna worry super too much about it. Super too much.
That works.
I take that out of context. I'm gonna try not to worry too much about it because it's like okay, like again, like I'm a person. Like context is key. Like if I use a word, sometimes I'll like type something and I'll be like, "This should be blah blah blah," and they're like, "Well, it should or it is," and I'm like, "Well, it is." I just I type the other way sometimes, so it kind of just comes with the territory.
Do you feel like you get a lot of Karens in that regard?
Like in the like nitpicking like the
Yeah,
language
like
kind of.
can I speak to somebody above you about this? Like, can I?
Honestly, not too much.
Good.
It not too much. Like I said, it hasn't happened too much. Like I can think of a couple times that I obviously would rather not relive, but it's honestly not too bad. I think most people just like want to be certain of things or like
Mm,
and they're okay with an explanation. And like I said, if someone is like, "No, you said this," and you're trying to explain it, but it's a like wrong and they're just kind of being combative, it's like, okay, I don't really, if they're just going to be combative, like it's not the time to engage anyway, you know.
Mm.
That kind of makes sense.
That's like a really good way to bring me to my next point. Like next question. So like we talked about like people like us that have been playing the game a long time and how long you've been in this group. So like how are you tempering expectations like for people like us and for new players?
Yeah, just like expectations about like the
About the
the
game, like
game in general.
yeah.
Yeah. You know, I think what's like interesting is like part of it is the reality that like there are hold on. Let me rephrase.
Okay.
Yeah, it's super new to me, and I think would be for most people to be working on a game where there's a community that has been around for so long. And like there's probably still a lot of cases where like you got like when you get into the nitty gritty, like Laufie, like PvP god, like you know you've been casting stuff forever, like all of you are super involved. Like there's probably a lot of cases where like you guys have way more time in the game than I do and like know things that I don't. Um so it's very interesting to kind of be in that position and like at the end of the day there are going to be some differences kind of between, you know, the different versions of the game
Hmm.
and like it is like I always try to understand, I guess, where players are coming from when they have played like the version that you have all played for so long, you know, what those expectations are. Like I always try to understand like where they're coming from um before I kind of like address anything. Um but like there would like kind of going in also knowing like hey, sometimes there will be changes that like might not be these players' favorites, but we're doing so and so for like the longer term, like because we have a plan with it or something. Kind of, I guess, almost T3 is kind of an example where a lot of players were like, no, 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 I don't want T3 at launch, and it's like, okay, well, this is part of a little bit of a bigger plan for us, you
Mm.
know. So kind of having that mindset and being like, hey, you know, not everyone's going to agree with it. I know this. Um, just do your best to kind of explain it. Um, like I think that's really the best way I can always do. And then yeah, I like I already said, but trying to understand the other point of view as well, just so I can, you know how they're feeling and like why players are feeling the way they are.
Yeah. I mean,
But kind of just like letting it lie in balance, I guess.
yeah. And there's a lot of players that are brand new to the game. Like obviously we've been playing this game a long time, so us getting tier 3 is exciting for us because we're looking at progression in the long term of like, hey, we played through T1 and T2. We know kind of what happens, and this game wouldn't have the retention if it stayed in our personal opinion, if it stayed like that for a long time. And then like T3's excitement is like this game got incredible in T3 and it like has amassed players in such a massive way in Korea especially, and it's like we're really excited about this, and like that's something that I feel like I haven't been able to do with my limited amount of community like reach, to be like, hey, you guys, this is a really really good thing and it's going to be really awesome for the health of the game in the long term.
I mean, yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
no, like that's that's exactly the goal. So it's nice to hear. Like I said, everybody has like different or mixed kind of opinions on it, and like
Of
you
course.
know, it is going to be that way sometimes, but like it's doing your best to be like, okay, well, here's kind of how it is. Here's kind of why. Like, I'm sorry, you know, like I understand your concerns, but like we're going this way. And then, like I said earlier, you know, the game is live service. Like, we're not stopping work on it because it's launching next
Yeah.
year. We're going to be doing more on it. So there's always, you know, that as well.
So to kind of play off of what DJ mentioned, how as members of the community, how can we better facilitate clean dialogue between you as a CM, Amazon and Smilegate as developers and publishers, and us as a community?
This is going to sound like really, really simple, but like honestly, the best possible thing for me, like that I love, is when like feedback and threads and stuff are just kept in like one place,
Yeah.
like a meta thread, you know, like
It makes
you'll see it a lot
sense.
on the forums, and I totally don't blame. Like, it's not like the end of the world if it's not, but like it's so much easier to, you know, at the end of the day, have one link that has like aggregated like everybody's opinions, everybody's discussions, like kind of all in one place. Um, as opposed to being like, well, there's this discussion here, and then there's this one here, and it also kind of derailed into a different conversation on
Yeah.
the side, and then there's like 3 comments that are saying the same thing over here, but they're all separate threads with like 0 comments on them. Like obviously it's fine and like easy to
Organized chaos is better.
yeah, like you know, it's fine. I can deal with that. But you know, if y'all do want to do your best to kind of facilitate that, like it's so much just simpler when it's all in one place. Or a few places, and just making that like information is kind of easily available as possible.
Out of curiosity, do you mentioned that you guys you're frequently checking like your forums. Does this in turn also relate to something like Reddit or the Steam discussion boards as well? Do you guys reference those areas for feedback, or is it
Yeah.
solely like the forum is what you guys are
Oh
primarily
no, I'm
based on?
everywhere.
Okay, I mean I
I
see you
don't.
on the Steam. I see you on Steam
I'm
all
on.
the time, and I'm
I
like,
don't
man.
comment on Reddit. I'm on Reddit
Okay.
every day. I see you
Okay.
all.
The
I,
all-seeing
you know,
eye of the
I've been
Lost
trying
Ark.
to figure out when, you know, if or when might be the right time for me to get in there.
Mhm.
But I kind of like the the community facilitates itself really well. Reddit specifically, like y'all do a really good job. I don't know who y'all is. I don't know who uses Reddit, but y'all do a really good job of like
Yeah.
spreading information and keeping it like, you
It's
know.
the
However, so like I personally, I don't think every community manager would necessarily like agree with this, but for me personally, like I kind of like having these spaces um that can just kind of exist and like don't necessarily like have us in there, and like we can see, you know, kind of just like what comes up out of the community in that way. So yeah, I'm reading everything. You can mostly see my comments on the forums to like disseminate information, sometimes on Steam as well. And like our channels, but like we do look other places even if we're not,
Okay,
you know,
awesome.
you're not
Yeah,
seeing us in there.
I figured as much. I was really
Yeah,
curious
totally.
because like I said, I see you all the time on like this Steam discussion boards and the forums. But I was curious if you actually touch into Reddit because I know as a community we try to really. This is the first time I've seen it in like a long time, and like I don't have a very extensive MMO history, but we try to organize the chaos as best as we can. So when there's one super good point, everyone seems to go right to that post and just start, everyone speaks their
Yeah.
mind there instead of someone taking that and going, well, I'm going to go and create that same post again. And then it's now you're divided. Now you're like on the forums, like you're
Yeah,
saying, you've
honestly,
got feedback
especially
here, feedback
recently,
here,
like
feedback here.
it has been done pretty well. Like the community does a pretty good job of self-organizing, which I really appreciate. And like with anything, it's always going to happen. It's the internet. Like it is not the end of the world, but when I have like one place to point to where I can just like if someone's asking about something, I'm like someone internal or Smilegate or whatever, and I'm just like, here, this one spot instead of sending them like a
Yeah.
bunch of stuff. It's just nice. Or
So
like the less they have to go through.
I try to avoid the forums at all cost. Do you guys do?
Okay.
It
Word.
stresses me out. No,
I
it just
mean,
stresses me out because
me
I'm like,
too.
oh, I want to answer I'll
Sorry.
answer how Roxx wishes she can answer right now, and I'm like, just
No,
wait until Tuesday when the game comes out. God, just stop asking these questions. Well, no Tuesday, Lord.
We need to get
But no, it's
Laufie on in Russian on the forums, responding
right.
to all threads.
Just start spamming them, but no, but no. In all seriousness, do you guys and again, I'm speaking because I don't ever go there. Do you guys have like a weekly feedback post that you guys put up? Because I know on like Reddit they do that often, like like weekly roundup of feedback or conversation. So then there's like a main hub where everyone is like posting under, and then obviously you have your general like look at the armor I got or look at my cool character, things like that.
yeah, we haven't done that on the forums. I think, you know, I'm understandable like why it's on Reddit. For us, it's like, okay, what are the hot topics? But the game itself, like this version
Mm.
of the game, is not, you know, playable yet.
Yeah.
It's definitely something to like look into potentially doing for like when we have frequent updates and stuff. Launch, I just expect there to be a lot happening. So
Yeah,
it's like not
understandable.
on my list to
Understandable.
tackle. Yeah, possibly with like future updates and stuff. But uh like I said, the community does do a fairly good job of like aggregating their own feedback, and like, it becomes pretty easy to see pretty fast like what the hot topics are or are gonna be. Um so we haven't really necessarily facilitated that. We are talking about trying a couple different, like we're gonna open up um more like subforms on Monday and stuff. So we'll see how those go.
Yeah.
I
Awesome.
like it. I like it.
So aside from the forums, and obviously being like probably one of the most, like, I guess, forward bridges between the community and Amazon, is there anything that you'd like, I mean, kind of in your mind that you would want to do aside from your current duties in the game? Like, is there anything that you would kind of you dream of doing, or you really wish you could do, like anything that any like opportunities that you'd like to tackle in the future?
Like I'm pretty happy with what I do. So this position I'm in, like I was saying earlier, like I'm always kind of happy to help out. I get to kind of internally at least like have my hands on everything, checking out like, well, I'm not the main social people or marketing people. I do get to help out a little bit. So I really like that I kind of get to do everything. And I don't know that I want more responsibilities. um no, but
That's true.
I like personally, I guess I have like some interest in like creative work. Like I do writing in my free time, so that would always be
Okay.
cool.
Oh wow.
Um, uh, I talked about this a lot last week, but that the behind the scenes video for the voiceover, that was
Mhm.
like my pitch, my idea. And that was something that's totally not my normal job, but I was just like, "Hey, you guys, this is really cool. Can we do this?" And they were like,
I
"Yeah, okay,
loved
that
it.
seems really cool."
No, it was
So that was
amazing.
really nice. That was just like my little baby brainworm when I was like fanning, uh, fangirling over over like when I was first playing through. I was like, "Holy
Hmm.
shit!"
Would
Because
you ever
I
want to do voice acting for the game?
Oh my god. I would like cameo,
Ooh.
but like I cannot compare to any of
Ooh.
those like people.
That would
I would have a cameo. There's this one NPC that I haven't found in the game yet. But that like looks exactly, so I dye the crap out of my hair, but that like looks exactly like me, and I'm like, can I be her? Like I gotta find a
Yes,
cameo.
please.
Oh
I
my
haven't found her. She's like
god.
some random like island NPC.
Ooh.
Only
I can't
700 to
even
check
remember her
on. So
name. Yeah,
Oh
you'll be fine.
yeah.
literally.
Oh,
You'll
okay.
find her
So
eventually.
Tuesday,
Yeah,
after you get your
there's
boat,
someone
we're
with
gonna find
natural
you.
hair
We're
color.
gonna find you. Come Tuesday, we're gonna find you on an island. We're gonna demand, all right? We don't want no more like bridging west and east. We want Roxx as a voice on the island. That's
We
what we
don't
want,
care.
all
Oh
right?
god,
We
we
Yeah, we
don't
don't
don't care about
care.
that anymore. The game's out, the servers are done, whatever. Can we get Roxx on this island, okay? Oh, that's
know,
This
if
is
dope.
there's
good.
Oh
anything
man.
fun and creative like that, where like anyone's like, oh, any opportunity like that, like I like to like stick my hands in because it's just like fun for me personally. But that's not necessarily like regular stuff. But I'll
Yeah.
cameo if they ever ask me to. I
Dude,
don't know.
that
That
would
would
be
be so
I'll
super,
start
awesome.
super cool.
harassing our localization lead again. That I
There you go.
harass all the
Yeah.
time over stuff I'm personally interested in.
I had a pipe dream personally where I was like, I wish I could voice like one of the arena NPCs that stands next to the board, but they're all dudes.
Ooh.
So
Oh,
So deep.
no shot. Oh, that
speaking
would
of
be.
voices, do you know? I mean, this is kind of more of like an Amazon question, but you're our only person here,
That's
so I'm
fine.
sorry. Do you know of any possibility of Amazon possibly potentially adding JP voices? Because I know people muse over those a lot.
I don't think so. We were able to do like Korean voice pack because that is owned by Smilegate and we're gonna deal with Smilegate. I don't think like Japan or Russia is probably going to be possible just because those were put in place and owned by those respective publishers, and we
Oh.
don't really like at this time. Like we're not in partnership. Like our partnership is with Smilegate, not the other publishers.
Understandable.
I don't. I. I was like, I don't know. So, straight up, I don't know if there will ever be crossover at any like point or anything. Like, I have no idea because that's kind of out of my realm. I don't really deal with partnerships. But right now our partnership is just with Smilegate, so that would be like a whole other like deal that would have to happen, and it's just not really likely.
Makes
Yeah,
sense
then
because there's somebody else's like I
yeah.
guess
Yeah,
product. Yeah.
yeah, basically.
Uh,
So in go
oh,
ahead,
I
DJ.
was just say, real quick before we dive into it. Did you move the dinosaur, Rock? There was a
Um,
question about a moving of a dinosaur.
it's still back there. I looked at it before the stream,
Ugh.
and you just can't see it with the way the Mokoko cast looks.
Oh no, I ruined it.
No, it's
Oh,
fine. No, it does not need to be there.
all
I
Wow.
right,
probably
all
sold
right.
Wow,
it. It
Well,
looks
that
DJ.
makes sense.
interesting.
Yeah, I gave you a cat. I
Jeez.
gave you a cute little kitty cat right next to the Mokoko seed. I'm doing.
Like
Oh no,
cat
it's on the
mom.
other side. It's in the center.
Oh,
Oh, I
okay.
didn't even notice that. Oh my
Yeah.
god.
Yeah.
Cat moms.
That's adorable. I
So
literally didn't even notice that earlier.
There you
in
go.
Laufie had mentioned earlier about the Japanese voice acting. Obviously, you came and gave us the biggest bombshell that we've all been screaming for is news, and you guys came with news in January. It was silent, and then all of a sudden, you open the floodgates of take everything. We're giving you T3. We're giving you the Korean voice acting for free. You have given us a bombardment of information. How do you personally feel the community has responded overall to the major January announcement that you gave us?
I mean, like the most straightforward. Like it was definitely mixed, which was expected. Like I think T30 was like the biggest like bombshell piece of news in that. And especially not sorry, not being something that people were necessarily expecting. I know Smilegate director had kind of like referenced it before. But like I think it was in LAO on. I'm probably not saying that right. Um, so I mean, understandably mixed. I was excited to like I was really excited to have like, like you said Korean voiceover was one of those things, but that's also like a very like niche group of players that wanted that or would be interested in that and like totally happy to get that.
Yeah,
But obviously it wasn't going to be the the biggest piece of news in there.
I mean, that's still
It
cool
was,
though.
yeah, no, I was
absolutely.
super happy. It's also like it was a little bit like I understand some of the mixed responses like we are so close to launch. And there were some things in there that like people didn't love. Which totally understandable. But like we at that point our goal was like, hey, let's like share like as many of the FAQ, like the repeated player questions, FAQs, like anything outstanding that we can add in here. Like it was a
Absolutely.
little bit of a like kind of hodgepodge, I guess. But we just wanted to like let players know and like be straightforward about it. And then, yeah, that close to launch, it's like there's maybe not a lot of things that will change immediately for launch.
Mhm.
So understandable about like the mixed response there, but definitely just like wanted to get that out there, and I'm glad we did.
That's definitely you guys made when the January like release like came and you guys dropped it out. The way you guys put it out in the over the course of like the week was just really nice because you gave us the information that we were all really clamoring for. Like, where's the state of the game, right? And one of the biggest things was us seeing that there was T3 content available. We were gonna finally be able to go to the Papaniga and everything like that. So we're really really excited about that. And then the additional information that you guys provided as well, I think was well done. So whoever that was that typed that whole article up, I think did a really good job finding those very specific points that people were just hammering in. You know, the name reservations, character creation, things like that. I really do appreciate um, the way you guys presented that piece of
Cool.
information for the community because it's
No,
pretty
that's
straightforward.
yeah, no, that's super good to hear too because we hadn't really like it felt a little bit weird to just be like, here's an FAQ at like the bottom of it, but it really did like that was a lot of people were involved in that. Like a lot of people. So I'm really glad it like worked out, and like that you guys enjoyed that, and like honestly that's something I would like to keep doing in the
Yeah.
future. Like our updates might look a little bit different in the future. We got to figure out how, because now we're going to have game updates instead of necessarily like
Yeah.
behind the scenes team updates. Still got to figure out like what works, but like it's look,
think
I'm working.
speaking-
It's very helpful for me to know, like, get that feedback and like know that it was good to have in there.
Yeah, you guys. So in the January update, like during those the January updates, you put like the launch details out, and then you obviously had the like the state of the game. I think going forward, something that I personally would like to see as a content creator, which made it really nice to be able to kind of review this information on stream and kind of go down it and really facilitate a conversation and dialect between myself and other content creators, as well as my community and other respective communities. One of the things I really like, and I really hope you guys do moving forward, is kind of keep us like this kind of transparent like space between us where we're kind of seeing what's happening with the teams alongside the state of the game, like what you guys are proactively doing in terms of like patch notes or game updates, things like that. I really like it because it reminds us that like you guys are not robots, that things take time, and like at the end of the day, things are going out to Smilegate. They have to, vet them, create them, and then you guys still have to turn around and implement them. That takes time. It's not like a snap of the finger. Or as my chat likes to remind me, just turn it off and turn it back on again. That's how you fix everything,
God,
right?
I
Mhm.
wish.
So yeah, I would really, I really hope moving forward, you guys kind of keep the same like energy with the communication, because it's just so perfect in terms of
Yeah.
community outreach.
Yeah, I definitely, obviously, it makes my job a lot easier the more transparent we can be, like even personally. And I think most of our team does want to, push for that and continue that. I think I might be jumping the gun a little bit here, but like I think you'll even see it when we're like working on a roadmap for post launch, but even in doing that, like I think it's important to be like, hey, this is a live game, things are changing, like we want to give you a roadmap so you can know what to expect. But like it's probably not going to be 100% like set in
Yeah.
stone, because, things are always shifting, things are changing. If we find
I
out
think
the community hates something and we're like, oh god,
yeah.
never mind.
Well,
So like yeah, I'd always rather be transparent when getting that out.
what's important about that is like the director of the game in Korea, the director of Smilegate, is super transparent with his shortcomings as well when it comes to the game, and that's something that like we see you guys bringing over and trying to adopt here as well. Is like, hey, we're not gonna like if we do say something and something isn't gonna happen, we want to be able to talk about it still,
Yeah.
and not just like sweep it under the rug, because again that just humanizes this group, to us, and gives us more transparency, like, hey, we saw that we said this, and
Yeah, I think
go ahead.
oh, sorry.
Sorry, no,
I was
go ahead.
just gonna say, I think that's something that's like super unique about our situation too, and this might sound a little bit weird, but like since we are, we're a game studio, we're functioning as a game studio,
Mm-hmm.
we're Amazon Game Studio, and I think the moment a lot of people see that Amazon tag, they're like, you have all of the resources in the world,
Yeah.
Yeah.
all of the money in the world, and
Oh
everyone and
man.
everything, and like I mean, like I'm not I'm not privy to like all of that, but like functionally day to day, like I feel like I'm just working at a game studio. Like,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
it we have like there's a lot of weight with
Mhm.
that name. I mean, there's like I think people expect, one of my coworkers gets messages all the time being like, "Hey, can you check on my Amazon package?" And he finally just started telling people yes, and then never responding.
Oh no,
Unrelated,
shot.
but because it's such a massive company, and it's like, okay,
Alright.
well, you have all the things, and it's like, no, we're really just pretty much a game studio that
Yeah.
for some
Is it
reason
like
That's
Amazon.
great.
I
We
got
don't slide into DMs for
I'm
Oh
questions
my
about
not.
Lost
god.
Ark. I just need to
I'm
know where
not
my
joking.
order is, okay?
I bought this board game on Amazon.com, and you work for Amazon Game Studios. It's the same thing, right? So
Yeah,
where's my
it's okay.
package?
Literally, like we don't necessarily like. I could not even look that up. But it's just interesting, like working with that name being our studio name. I think
Yeah.
for sure.
It's
Like
definitely tough. I feel like it comes
I
with like
feel, yeah,
this unwarranted burden
it
for
feels like
sure.
every other game studio. I mean, every studio I've worked at has felt a little bit different, but
Mhm.
functionally, it's like it feels like every other studio I've worked at. You know.
There was a question I had. We were gonna ask it later, but I wanted to ask it now since we were kind of talking about it. Like when it comes to patch notes and like that kind of information, how will you guys be like presenting that going forward? Is it gonna be like a patch note or like something? I'll let you answer. Go ahead. Go ahead. Sorry.
No, you're fine. I'll hear your ideas. No, so
I'll post them on the
expect
forums.
patch notes. Yeah, yeah, for sure. Expect patch notes this for launch to be on the website. I have started talking to people about where we want to host those in the future. This has not been locked in. I am of the mind that I kind of like having things available on the website. They will for sure always be on the forums. Patch notes and known issues for this week will appear on the forums probably,
Okay.
hopefully
Cool.
tomorrow. Um, it should tomorrow, as far as I'm aware. Um, so forums for sure. Website for launch. And we're talking about what we can do with our website to, if we want to make it prettier, make it make sense, make like if we're gonna section it or not.
Mhm.
Slightly out of my realm. Like I've had some of these discussions, but like that's not. I don't do the website design, so I
Yeah.
don't know how it's gonna end up. But yeah, for now, definitely forms. Hopefully.
Okay. Well, I had the other question I was supposed to ask when I had lined up. What do you expect the early release to look like? Are you guys worried? You excited?
I
A
think
little bit of both.
there's like I've done this so many times. I think there's like always like a healthy amount of like I think if you just expect everything to be perfect all the time, like for every release, like I've that's a lie. I've had one super smooth release that like had like even that one had like one or two issues.
You
Um
could say the game, by the way. Like we're not opposed to
oh
talking
no,
about.
no, yeah. So it was, and it doesn't even count because it was Castle Crashers on the
Well,
PS4
yeah.
and
I
Nintendo
mean,
Switch, and that game had already been out for like 10 years or like more, I think,
but
15
still
years.
awesome.
Yeah, no, it's
Dude,
great.
oh my
That was
god.
the
Everyone
easiest
Okay.
has
launch I ever had
360.
because the game had already been out for so long and we were just porting
Yeah.
it to new platforms.
Hey.
um, so I think there's always like a healthy amount of, I am ready. Like I bought a bunch of food today. Like I'm fully planning on like being tapped in all week, like ready to work. I think most of the team is. Um, Closed beta was a really good experience, I think, overall. We forced server queues in the morning, obviously. I think some people still don't realize that was intentional. We forced queues in the morning. We put out a patch at Saturday, I think it was. Part of the reason we did want to patch for such a short closed beta was because we wanted to go through the patch process and like learn like okay, let's do it live, like so we know what to expect when this game is live and launching. Um so I've got my fingers crossed that it'll, be as smooth as ever, but I don't also want to be like everything is perfect all the time because I don't know a single MMO that has ever had a perfect launch,
True.
Um so we'll see. I
Yeah.
I feel good about it. But like I have a healthy amount of like okay, I'm ready in case, things happen.
If I could jump in super quick since we're on
Yeah.
topic,
Yeah.
and there was a pretty good question from chat from Savior.
Hmm.
And this is just a question from chat, so feel free to say that you can't respond, Roxx. So the person, so Savior A3 asked if we could ask regarding each realm capacity and your expectation of queues. I know it's hard to say. I think just because you guys are Amazon, people are comparing it to New World a lot.
Yeah, no, that's
And they had like very low like level like low amount caps, so people are a little bit worried about that. If you have anything to say.
so I can't give like an exact capacity number. It is not nearly as low as New World. Like this game is a different type of MMORPG. Like I think New World is like 2000. It is much higher than that. Of course. Um, queue times. So the thing with queues, I can't really tell you what I expect them to be. But what I can tell you is that we have a ton of like open servers not open servers, sorry, servers that are ready to be open on standby. Depending on what queue times look like, what population looks like, what everything looks like, stability, all that. We have a bunch of servers that are like ready to go. So like the moment queues start getting ridiculous, we can just throw those out there and be like, be free. Like unqueue yourself. So we're definitely gonna be in there, assessing the whole time, to try to make sure things could stay as smooth as possible.
Nice. I like it.
So what? Speaking of launching servers and stuff, what are you most excited for and most looking forward to with this Lost Ark launch?
Honestly, I'm just so ready to like have this game be out there. Like I know y'all have probably been waiting on it even like longer than, I've known it existed. Like I'll admit it.
Yeah.
I'll admit it. I did not know about this game until I, got this kind of job inquiry about it and I was like, "Hey, that looks really cool." So I know people are super eager, and now that I have played it, it's so much fun. And I'm really excited both for, everyone who's been waiting for so long to finally get to play it and just to have new players experience it because like Lost Ark is so weird and bizarre. Like it's weird.
In a good way.
You
In a
guys,
good way.
It's a very unique experience.
It
and the
is.
Mokoko seeds are weird.
Yeah.
Like, are we gonna talk
Yeah.
about that? They're just like unborn children.
They're
Like this
also
game's weird in
yeah.
like the best way, but it's so unique and fun and
Yeah.
just like out there. And I'm just like really excited for people to be able to enjoy it,
Oh wow.
They're a little bit
Not
weird.
my Mokoko seed collection.
Also collecting giant hearts and the hearts of islands, a little strange. Like
and and this was like referenced in the voiceover thing, but there's just like a literal like you get to wherever I can't remember the name off the top of my head, but like there's an entire musical number in this game.
oh,
like,
it's in Yorn.
Yes,
In
that's
Yorn.
Morphle,
Wow.
yeah.
Like
No,
it
those
just
the
like
Yorn. Yeah,
happens.
Yorn.
Like there's
Yeah,
so
Yorn.
many like fun just things that I feel like people like aren't used to. I don't know.
No, it's just
I've
different.
never
It's
seen that
very,
in
very
it,
different.
so,
Watching
but I love it.
watching that guy sing in the voiceovers in your guys' YouTube video, like, oh my
Amazing.
god. I was like,
Right?
what?
I was not
Good.
prepared for
This
that.
is
All of a sudden, they're
awesome.
like, yeah, he thank God he had
Broadway.
like a Broadway background.
Like, wow. All right.
I was like,
awesome.
not expecting that.
I
But
Okay.
it's like no, who would ever expect
Right.
to just get a full musical number in an MMO? Like
I mean, that's
what?
something to
I-
put down in your resume for sure.
I think
Like, they just don't. It's not a thing.
I think Zav and I were joking about that. Like before we had heard that T3 was coming out, I think it was a joke that I was like, wait till America sees the full like dance number and singing and everything in Yorn. Like
Yeah.
this is just gonna be strange because like you have like World of Warcraft doesn't have that. New World doesn't have that. Final Fantasy doesn't have that. I mean they do it
But
like
Disney
separately,
does.
but
Right?
Lost Ark, right in the middle of the storyline. Here you go, full dance and singing number. Like,
So
Literally.
speaking of Zav, a
Oh,
fellow
yeah,
content
perfect.
creator on the Twitch platform, as well as YouTube. He's a part of the Beard Daddy gang.
Beard
Love
Squad.
Zav. Beard Squad, right? Beard Brothers. So he recently made a statement that I felt really resonated with the MMO community as a whole. He made a statement about the difficulties of the MMO community and the impossible expectations that are put in front of community managers. How are you making these impossible expectations more human and creating a reality in which you guys do not get overwhelmed just days before the release?
I mean, like honestly, like I mean, I think sometimes, like brutally honest, like sometimes it is overwhelming, like for sure. Um, but I guess it's kind of like what I talked about earlier is like knowing when it's more important to like step back and kind of reassess, versus just like powering through. Whether that's not
Yeah.
taking things personally, whether it's situations where the community wants an answer to a question and kind of like I talked about earlier, like I can tell you, hey, we're working on it. And right now they really want the answer, and that's not a great answer for them to hear, but like the reality is like that's where we're at. So like delivering what you can, and then like not overexerting yourself where you shouldn't. Like
Respect it.
there will be days when I guess the most recent thing was the conversation about like language preferred servers. I think it came up for roughly like Friday-ish,
Hmm.
at the end of whatever week it was.
Yeah.
We started those conversations. It was the weekend, we're about to launch a game, like very much respect the team's decisions to have a
Yeah.
weekend. And then, I think it was like Monday or Tuesday, like we had to talk about it Monday, we had to talk about it with a different group Tuesday or Wednesday. I don't remember the exact timeline. All the days are playing
No,
together.
you're good. You're
Uh,
good.
but then, as soon as they had that information, it was shared. And like, I totally understand, like, in the meantime, people are like, hey, I want to know about this now. I want to know about this now. Um, but it's like, hey, we got to talk to people first. So it's like also
Yeah.
knowing when you can share what you can share and like put it down and like walk away, because at that point it's
Understandable.
like, hey, I can't really add any more value here. Like, I understand people are upset about it. I can understand
Mm.
why. There's not really anything else I can add that adds value. So it's kind of just I guess part of it is comes with being transparent about those things. Like, hey, we need to talk about this. Part of it comes with setting boundaries for yourself. Like,
Mm.
okay, I'm walking away. I am like, if I'm ever on the forums, like there are some mornings where I'm like, oh my god, there's so many things happening, like something super toxic, and I do get a little overwhelmed, and I'm like, I'm gonna go work on something else, and like I'll come back. So I think it's just like a good mixture of like all of that is like really, really the best
Yeah.
there is to do. I hope I
No,
like kind of answer that
no,
question.
you know, you
No,
definitely
it.
did. Oh, I think
Yeah.
we've kind of, sorry to interrupt you, DJ. I do
No, no, no.
apologize.
Go. No, no, no. You're good.
So we as a community, when that clip was kind of circulating around, and there was a lot of discussion about it, like we as gamers have these insane expectations for our game, right? Like we want the best of the best, and we don't feel like we want to waste our time or anything like that. One of the big things that I spoke about, and I remember tapping in with Zav on this, and DJ as well. He touched down on this that um, people they're gonna be upset, but at the end of the day, like they're only seeing a very small picture. They're not seeing the grand plan that you guys have
Yeah.
behind the scenes.
I would, yeah, I guess that's definitely a good like call out and important to remember too. Is like, there are going to be decisions that players or the community don't always agree with. That happen for a different variety of reasons. But at the end of the day, the goal of everyone working on this game is never going to be to harm the game,
Hmm.
because if we do, we will not have jobs anymore. So, like honestly, like to
Yeah.
put in perspective, like the people working on the game are never going to want the game to fail, because these are our whole careers,
Mm.
Yeah, absolutely.
like it's never coming out of a place for like, and total jokes about it, but it's never coming from a malicious or bad place. Like, that's not to say we'll be perfect 100% of the time and every decision we'll make is correct, the first time we do it. Like, we can learn, we can do whatever, but it's never coming from like a place of like ill intent, because it affects all of us too, if not more so. Like, I like my job.
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
would
I
continue
mean,
working on this game for
Seems
a
like
long
it.
time.
yeah.
Yeah.
We're we're all passionate people about Lost Ark, and like we have to expect that the team that is publishing this game in the state is just as passionate as we are, right? They brought it here. So,
Yeah, I mean,
I mean, thank you guys. I'm really tired of playing on 200 ping servers. I'm really stoked about this, right? So like this is very exciting. Uh Laufie, you had something you want to say? Sorry.
Yeah, so speaking of rocks, how like those decisions are made and like when you roll out those like however the tier 3 decision kind of came about. I know personally from just kind of talking to you when you were helping us out during the CBT and just kind of reading the forums, when people are angry about one specific topic, you always say something along the lines of I've compile the feedback and I'll bring it up to the team. Is that usually how it goes when you're making those decisions, or is there ever like a reverse process where your team actually comes to you and says, we're looking on more feedback about this topic, can you go like seek it out or something? Like, how does that process usually take place?
Yeah, well, I think it'll be a bit different once the game launches for sure, since we the game hasn't been out yet.
Hmm.
There were like, I guess a good example would be like there were a couple things in closed beta that were differences from alpha. I don't have it off the top of my head because it's been a few months, where we're like, hey, we want to look for feedback, or like Smilegate and the production team want feedback specifically on these things because they've changed for closed beta. Um, for a lot of right now, I think there's always discussions beforehand. Since people aren't in and playing the game, they kind of get that information as we present it. It's different from how it will be on live when people are playing through it and giving feedback. So a lot of it has been, kind of doing things, seeing how the community reacts. But I mean, basically there have been cases of both. I think there will be a lot more cases where we are looking out for things kind of ahead of time, just when the game's live, because we'll be getting that feedback a lot differently. Does that does that make sense? I know I kind of like talked in a circle there,
No,
but
you're totally good. Like, Roger
cool.
that.
Cool.
With the release of Lost Ark, many people will see this as the end to a multi-year project for Amazon Game Studios. Do you have any plans to maintain the team currently, or are you guys looking to grow?
So we have not stopped growing.
Oh,
Actually, like I started. Sorry,
no, you're
lost my train
good.
of thought. I started roughly last summer, even. And like obviously this was already in process before I was ever there. We've gotten some pretty talented folks. Even in the last, like, since I've started, new people. So we've continued to grow. Obviously there's people that have different realms of responsibilities. Some people work on multiple projects, some people work on everything. I don't know exactly what everyone does every single day to day. But yeah, there's definitely, we've still grown, and like I think if the game goes crazy, there are some plans to continue to grow, and we can assess like how much we need to, but there's not really a we definitely haven't like slowed it down preemptively or anything.
To kind of piggyback off that, are you guys allowed to talk about how many people you have? I know that's been like a weird,
I don't
like, gray
actually even
area.
like know because I haven't
Sorry.
counted.
Oh, okay. Yeah, no
You
I
worries.
don't
you work
know.
from you
Yeah,
work from
I don't
home,
know if
right?
it's
So
a
you haven't
gray
really gotten a chance to
area.
see
Yeah.
like
Yeah, like
everybody,
it's
right?
like, who do I
Okay.
talk to in Slack? Like I can tell you
Yeah.
who, like, what teams I meet with the most often, but I know like there's cases of people I probably haven't even worked with. I mean, it's a sizable team for sure.
Okay. Cool.
Lots
Well,
of
like,
different, and there's lots of I should say lots of different teams. Technically, I'm on the community team. We have a production team, we have a CS team, we have some other team.
we
Yeah.
just because
I ran out of names, but
the question always comes up with like, we wanted to make sure that like the two teams of Amazon Game Studios, like the Lost Ark team and that there's the New World team. People were like having that question of like, oh, well, they're just like throwing people over to the Lost Ark team because they don't care about this game. And that's just not true. I just
yeah,
wanted to
no,
like make sure people understood. Like,
yeah,
we
definitely.
obviously see.
I mean, even with New World, the thing about New World is like the development is happening like in house under
Yeah.
Amazon. So
Mhm.
like obviously all those people that are devs for New World like do not touch like Lost Ark. Like we have our own separate production team. Obviously we're just publishing and not developing it here, so the the types of people we need and stuff are a bit different. But yeah, they we definitely have separate teams.
So with the launch being days away, right? We're getting excited. For founder pack owners, if you guys don't know, you'll get in on Tuesday, February the 8th. Everyone else 11th, which is I believe a Friday, right?
It's Friday.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe it's a
No, you're right.
Friday.
No.
I'm a founders pack owner. I'm juiced
So
up. I'm ready to be there on Tuesday. So
going
one
in.
of the big things that has come up with my community And we've seen this going into the development process with your implementation of bringing it to the NA audience. But one thing I really want to ask is going forward with the release literally coming up. So the forms are gonna get hit right away, right? If your job's like job security is locked in these first like 3 months, give or take, right?
Hopefully
Can you kind
longer.
of, if they're quiet, then you have done an absolute phenomenal job, or I think my company's hiring, so either or. But yeah, so can you walk us through the steps and timeline for you after people start reporting like what could be deemed as issues on the forums? Something that you would kind of like, oh, my character's stuck versus like, hey, all of EU cannot connect to any of the servers, right? Can you take us through like the steps of what goes on between you and your team with facilitating these reporting of issues?
Yeah, I mean, to your point with your examples too, it definitely depends on like what the issue is,
Mhm.
and like who needs to help address it. Like for example, like characters being stuck. If that's like that totally happened during closed beta, and that was already a known issue, so it was flagged, and then the solution was going to CS and being like, hey, can you help remove all these nerds that are getting stuck? I don't think you're nerds. I love you all.
No, we're nerds. Don't worry. We're nerds. We're weebs. We're degens. Like, dude, you can blanket statement this whole group. We're all good with
Speak for yourself.
it.
I'm
Okay.
wholesome.
I'm gonna be
I'm
taken out
wholesome.
of context. It's gonna
This
be
Turbo Chad Rufio, 6'5", all right?
Exactly.
Bodybuilder.
Ooh,
Not
exactly.
even.
Ooh, okay, chill. Listen, dad bods. It's still wintertime, so it's dad bod season right now. Thank you, though.
no, sorry, not to derail, but
No,
for
you're good.
something like, oh my god, no one can connect.
Yeah.
Obviously that it's like kind of escalated immediately. During launch especially, like we have kind of open like war rooms where it's like key players are involved, so if anything comes up, we can move as fast as possible. Like if there's issues that are more like feedback or things that are tweaks to the game, like kind of longer term, um, that'll probably end up in sort of a report. It really kind of depends on how urgent it is and like what parties are required to address it. So like yeah, long form type feedback, like longer changes, things that would like take I don't know, say like balance tweaks or whatever, unless it's super urgent, like that might be in like long form feedback. If there's a bug or something, but CS can help us address it, that might be the case of, hey, we're flagging this as a bug to fix in the future. In the meantime, here's what we're doing. If something's super urgent, then it's like, okay, like, we'll sound the alarm and like start waking people up.
Nice. Okay. Cool. Yeah.
I know
That's.
it's kind of a lot of different things, but there are
Mhm.
different processes. I mean, there's
Yeah.
bug reporting too and stuff, of course. But
Yeah.
it really kind of just depends on the urgency and like who needs to help fix it.
Yeah, definitely. No, I was just really curious because that was
Yeah,
that was
totally.
something I get questioned that all the time is like, how does submitting something like, is there a point of me submitting something on the forums? And I always say, if you're just there to complain, I mean, obviously make your voice heard. But if you do generally have an issue that you can see being a prolonged issue for other users, definitely tap in and make that known.
Oh yeah.
If there's no ticketing supporting system, at least run and like utilize the tools that we have access to bring light to these situations.
To
Totally.
piggyback off that, what are we gonna have like a similar reporting system to KR where it's like an online reporting system, or are we looking at something that potentially could be integrated into the game?
So I know we have like an online one right now.
Okay.
I
As
do
long as we
not
have something, right?
believe there's one. Yeah, there's definitely like an online support like portal.
Okay.
I don't think there is anything in the game right
Okay.
now. If I'm
Okay.
wrong on Tuesday, you can prove me wrong.
I mean, that would be like,
Last I checked.
we would have like an advanced client that like other
Yeah,
regions don't even have yet. But I
I'm
just was curious
I'm
if like
pretty sure we
that
do
was
not.
in the spec, something like that. But yeah, because there's people that get angry at us in PvP. Laufie. I'm just kidding. I'm just joking. Not Laufie specifically. I meant like Laufie also knows how I feel.
Yeah, sure.
Not
Nice save.
I'm.
Nice save.
Okay, anyways. On to the next question, Laufie. Sorry.
Right?
I'm gonna go cry myself to sleep. Bye, guys.
Yeah.
Good. Later. So
Hope she's not in your PvE group because you're not getting
Oh,
heals.
yeah.
That's for sure.
At least I play support too, then, so I'm good.
true. We're never gonna be on the same
I
party.
handle my own support heals.
Man, paladin scum. Anyway, my question was like kind of zooming out from the little bits and pieces of feedback that you give to community when it comes to the forums and the feedback. Like, if we were to zoom out and like kind of, do you know of any plans that Amazon might have to have something similar like Loa on, like that big event that they have to make like a bunch of announcements? Or are you looking to have like a translated version of that, or like collaborate with them, or like anything of the sort?
Yeah, right now, like, I don't think we have like a big, like, we want to do, obviously, well, this isn't streamed. We want to do a roadmap, but like, we know things might change. Like, we're still sorting out, like, we got to get this game launched and see what the live services are like and kind of go through that process. I don't know that we'll like do like a simultaneous cast or like translation necessarily for Loan. Just because like a lot of the stuff that is in it is like super new and it's going to come to KR first. Like, at least for now, we have a lot of things like not all the classes are in the game at launch. Like, we're going to go through those as far as I'm aware. Like, we might get some bits and pieces from like those events that are being announced in Korea, but not necessarily all of them all at once. So like,
Understandable.
well, we fully like support that, and like we had people watching it and stuff. I think we might have hosted it on Twitch. We don't necessarily want to like cause additional kind of confusion for like, especially for more like casual players, that may not be as tapped into like where this game came from necessarily. Like, this is going to be the first time they're playing it or aware of it with this version. We're gonna do more regular kind of streaming and programming in the future for sure.
Okay.
But not necessarily like there's not like one big event on the docket.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Speaking of the like kind of collaborations of Amazon and Smilegate and big events, do you know of any plans that Amazon might have to kind of have something similar to the Royal Roaders, like their official kind of endorsed tournament in PvP?
Sorry, I'm coughing. So I don't know like necessarily like if we're like I will start by saying like I don't know full plans for that. Just like to be the most straightforward about it. There's definitely an interest in PvP and like supporting the PvP community. I don't know that we have plans like ready to fire right now, or what that might look like. If we do, like, I'm not tapped into it yet. But like, it's always fun to see too, like what the community comes up with, like if we can kind of support that stuff, what those parameters might be. But there's definitely been like an interest in PvP and seeing what we can do in that space. I'm just not sure what it might look like quite yet.
Yeah. Do you know if that includes like Sage or the archives, like the people that hosted the CBD tournament?
Yeah, I mean, we're definitely aware of it. We've definitely been watching it. I think we're, a little like I can't say we haven't, or sorry, we haven't had conversations with them necessarily, like just because we don't have those plans like locked into place quite yet, and we still got to figure out like what we can do, what we want to do, what's ideal. But we're definitely like aware of those organizations, and like I mean, I watched part of the tournament in closed beta, so it's like definitely in back of mind. But we'll see.
That's a good sign.
To piggyback off that, who's your favorite player?
Laufie, obviously.
God.
Yeah.
Dude, she didn't even compete in the
I
tournament.
know she casted it.
I don't need to.
Damn, dude. What? Imagine you don't even have to, like, build up any keyboard sweat, and she still outclasses you, dude.
Secondary question: who's your favorite paladin?
If you want to say Stoops, I think he tested Paladin
Oh
before he
my
came over.
god,
It's
you
okay.
guys!
It can
Just throwing
be
it out
you. It can
there.
be.
Oh,
Thanks.
wow,
I
look at you
appreciate
just
it.
all clamoring. So I'm we had a we had a prior guest, the owner and organizer of the Sage esports and the archives PvP event. Which again, thank you, Laufie and Roxx, so much for working diligently to fix that bug
It was
to
all her.
allow
I
that
just asked
show to
questions.
That
go
was
on, right?
crazy.
Yeah.
That was
was wild.
absolutely
It was-
insane.
It took a little bit, but
Yeah.
we got
So
it.
I discussed. I talked to Flip a little bit about it, about his eagerness to provide, um, like a PvP platform and everything. And obviously, you'd stated that you guys you're looking at it, but you don't really have plans set in place. Would you guys be? This kind of plays into what Laufey asked earlier, but would you guys be juxtaposed to the idea of maybe shining light on, um, content creators or organizations that are putting tournaments on, just to say like, hey, this is a community program, just to kind of shine some light on your community as a whole, to showcase some other things that are happening besides, world first runs or leveling or streamers or
Yeah.
things like that.
Oh no, like I think we've been kind of I've seen it on social a little bit, like kind of starting to. I mean, I'm definitely not opposed to it.
Mhm.
I think most of my team would like to.
Okay.
One thing that's like kind of weird that I have to bring up is like there's like a certain amount of like legal things we have to go through. Like depending on the
Understandable.
degree
Understandable.
we support, you know,
Yeah.
things that are not directly affiliated with us. Like there's always
Mhm.
going to be a certain amount of like legal to go through just to make sure
Yeah,
everything's
that makes
copacetic.
sense. Yeah, there's
So,
definitely
and that's
hurdles,
also
it seems
part of
like.
why I'm like, I don't fully know those plans. Like, we're interested. We
Okay.
got to see what we can do.
Absolutely.
So like that's just realistically part of it. But I'm definitely not opposed. And like I said, as a
Definitely.
person, I was like, I'm gonna watch this.
Can we expect to get you on to show up and come hang out during PvP tournament?
Maybe
Can
I
we get a
would.
live
I thought you were
Roxx
gonna say compete.
broadcast
I was like,
alongside
absolutely
Laufey?
not. I feel
That'd
like
be
y'all are so. This is the fun thing about me is I've literally never played PvP in Lost Ark because I've been playing on the QA server and it's usually like fairly empty. Like there's not a bunch of people queuing for PvP.
yeah.
Yeah.
So like I'm not as like that is probably one of the places like I'm least familiar with. I'm also dog water at competitive games. Like
I mean, we could help.
It's okay.
I'm
I'll
not good. But
Good
I could
crash
definitely,
course.
I'll definitely, yeah, I know. I think once it's up, I'll start digging in. Like I know
I
there's
have
tons of
a
resources and stuff online already, but I've just been, digging into everything else. I think it'll be easier once it's out here.
shameless plug. On my YouTube, I have like a whole know your role, like information about PvP. So you can check that out. Like we can help out in that regard. Don't look at me, Laufey, like that. No, this was the best plug. You know it. That was great. Also, Laufey plays, and I explain her gameplay in YouTube. You're welcome.
Yeah.
right.
Yeah, I've put in some content, but there's so much, and then I was
Oh,
like,
it's pumping right now. I love
mean,
it though.
yeah, but then it's like, okay, obviously there are some differences, whatever, between the versions. So it's like, oh my god,
Uh-oh.
you know,
DJ. Uh-oh.
I don't.
Your information might be wrong.
Oh well.
So,
Okay.
just saying.
Okay. Well,
So
I can always adjust.
I'm gonna go e-beg Flip tonight and see if we can make this happen. All right, I want to see you step in the
feel like
arena.
that
We'll
caused a
how about this?
problem.
How about this? Community manager versus Twitch community liaison sci-fi, and we'll let the battle of the
Oh,
Amazon
sci-fi would
employees
kick my
duke
butt.
it out. Don't worry, we'll
That'd be
train
So
you.
much
We
more
got you.
time in the
that'd
game
be
than I
dope.
do.
We'll train you. We'll put you through rigorous training. But speaking of content creators, can you give any? I know that Greg is the head of the creator relations at Amazon Games, and it was crazy. The during your guys' big, obviously this last week, your big announcements. There was a lot of back and forth about the state of the content creator program. You guys just announced the famously now named Lola event, which we're really excited about. I can't wait to watch these teams duke it out. Go my team, we won our gifts faster than everybody else. So I'm really excited about that. But I know Greg is the lead of the creation, the creator relations lead over there. Can you detail anything though? Any further plans? I know we all got our emails. Thank you, by the way. I'm really
Y'all
excited.
are
I've been putting
still
all my stuff
you're still
together.
getting them right. Were rolling out yesterday. They didn't.
Oh yeah, no, I
I
got
saw
mine
some
like at
people being like, I
4 o'clock
haven't
in the
gotten it
morning.
yet, and I'm like, I'm pretty sure
Yeah.
they're just rolling out.
That was
Cool.
me. That was
Oh,
me that said that.
I'll have to
It
check.
was more than just you. Don't worry.
I'll have to double check.
So
I didn't check that this morning.
They'll
um
arrive if they haven't.
so yeah, do you have any like further details on some plans going forward post launch for the creator program?
I don't know too much just off the top of my head because Greg and his team is kind of the ones that are detailing that out. I mean, obviously the first piece of news is that we're gonna have Twitch drops available for everyone in that program starting at launch and like going through March. And I know that Greg's goal with this program is to really like just be able to support like kind of everyone as much as we can, whether that's Twitch drops, whether that's certain things, like no matter what kind of content you create. So I know he's got some big plans, but I don't necessarily have like a look that I can share into like his long form details right now, and I don't want to
It's
step
a,
on
It's not like
toes
part of
there.
your
What?
a
One
part of your
sec,
duties.
friends. Her camera's discoloring. Let me see what is
oh, yeah,
happening
give me
on my
1
side.
second.
Yeah.
Give me 1 second.
Okay. Sorry, friends. I do apologize. What? Okay, now it's fine. Dude, this happened last week when we had Dad Rage like turned into like a
Yeah.
monster. Okay.
My camera, this is like a brand new one. I'm sad.
Yeah, no, it's I think it's on my end through
Alright.
video. I'm not sure. So
I didn't have my video on, so I didn't.
no,
see
you're
this.
good. You're totally good.
I don't want to see myself.
By the way, friends, if you're not already following like Laufie on Twitch and on Twitter, you should.
What, Roxx is a guest, hello?
Yeah, but well, I'm gonna get to her second. And like I was gonna going in order of brain capacity. We're getting yelled at. Roxx
Hurry
also Roxx, follow Roxx on Twitter, please. Do you want traffic driven to your Twitch as well? I know you haven't been streaming lately, but
I don't stream very often, but you can if you want.
I'm
I would
playing
be
Genshin
if
Impact.
you haven't unhinged on Twitter, like if you were just gonna be like, I only ever stream really late at night when I'm really tired, so I kind of just sit there and stare into space, and I'm not very exciting. I mean, like if that's your jam, that's fine.
Okay. Deal.
All right. Well, my next question was, I wanted to ask you if like the content creator program had like if that was part of your duties, but you kind of already answered that that's like a separate
Yeah,
team.
I mean,
So
I work with them like a little bit. Like they're technically part of the team I'm on, but they run their show, and I butt my nose in sometimes to see if I can help or ask for things.
Nice. We talked about it a little bit earlier, and you had explained that Amazon seems like they're working on the roadmap, obviously, which we're really anxiously waiting for, as I'm sure you've seen on both the Twitter and forum posts. But can you detail any sort of plans for any type of maybe in-game events, maybe some items being released? I know one thing that has been a really popular thing recently has been the Northern Lawmaker outfit. I think this is exclusive to NA, right?
Yeah.
Is there any plans for any other NA exclusive items down the pipeline, or?
I don't know right now.
Mhm.
Obviously, like the opportunity is there. Northern Lawmaker is like 100% exclusive, at least right now. So long as like I don't know. I guess if another group asked for that, maybe we would talk about it. But
Yeah.
the intent is to be exclusive. I'm not totally sure like where on the roadmap like some of these things would fall, just because I've been so focused in on like launch and then right after launch. It's kind of as far as like my looking around has gone for now, my insight, just because I've been so into getting this game out the door. So I'm sure there will be there, and we'll share it when we can, but I don't really have any
It's
exciting insight
understandable.
I can give today.
I tried, chat. I tried.
No, I totally understand. Like
No, it's
I
okay.
don't know too, but
Yeah, no.
it's
I mean, we're
wonder.
2 days
Well, that's
away.
the thing when the game is like it's for so long
Mm,
everywhere else. Like totally understandable.
yeah. Yeah, I think a lot of
Hmm.
people are just we're just anxious about what we can see are going to be kind of unique to our game. So I'm really excited about that. But go ahead, DJ.
Roxx, do you mind real quick leaving the video ninja and then coming back because it's doing it
Y-
again? I think
I
it's
wonder. So I'm in front of a window and like.
no,
the
it's totally
maybe it's
video's
down, I
fault.
wonder.
Like
I don't
because
know.
I see it, you're totally
don't know.
fine colored.
DJ, you're muted.
DJ,
Am-
I don't know
oh.
what you're saying.
Oh,
You're like,
am I muted? Oh my god.
yeah.
Sorry.
Wow.
Oh my god. Chat. I mean, stream could definitely hear me. But do you mind leaving Video Ninja and then coming back into the
will
call?
not be coming back actually.
Oh, okay. Okay, cool.
Oh.
Perfect.
No, I'm
She's
just
like,
kidding.
peace.
I was
Later,
like,
nerds.
Whoa, right? Getting out of here, dude.
I
This
actually
podcast.
lost the link.
Oh, here I'll link.
Oh no, there it is.
Okay.
I was like, I didn't mean to do that, but now I'm gonna.
See you later, nerds.
All right, good podcast.
Later.
So February 8th, I'm really excited. Really excited. Are you guys gonna go grocery shopping?
Today.
Yeah,
Yeah.
right. All right, I'm getting
Groceries,
snacks.
quote unquote.
I
yeah.
literally did that today, like right before this. I got myself
You were saying
snacks
that?
for the week too. Like no
I
joke.
was
Did
was
you get
thinking
like
about that
Meal
earlier.
prepping.
did you get actual groceries, like grown up groceries, or did you get like a bunch of degenerate food?
Both.
Good.
We got a healthy
Listen.
mixture. I try not to like buy snacks for myself when I'm just here all week, because if they're
Yeah.
not here, I can't eat them. But I was like, I don't care this week. Like,
Pizza rolls hit
Yeah.
different
crap.
during a big release. So
Mhm.
I hope you got some pizza rolls or some bagel bites. We don't judge, but pizza rolls hit different during a major
I
release.
can't even tell you. I just kept throwing stuff in my cart.
Yeah, this looks good. I'll try this.
Yeah.
It's quick and easy. I can get back to my computer.
I will not be leaving my house.
Right? Are we all good, DJ?
Yeah, it looks like the camera's
Okay.
not discoloring anymore.
I think you were about to ask.
Oh yeah,
question.
yeah. Sorry
the
about
camera
that.
freaked out. No, you're okay.
Can you detail a few things that have not been previously stated about how our game differs from other versions that have been previously released?
I think I don't like have like a list handy.
Oh yeah, I mean just like stuff off the top of your head that you know.
I think you'll see some of that in the patch notes, which should
Okay.
be delivered tomorrow.
Okay, cool.
So to just not step on that, but like obviously, you know, the obvious ones they have been talked about is like, hey, your content pacing's a little bit different. Like we have the T3, which we keep going back to. We have some kind of quality of life features now. Like you get your mount pretty early in game. Like we have the new shorter prologues. I know that's been kind of a point too. Some people like the old prologues better. So we'll see.
Nice.
The Crystaline Aura subscription is a little bit different. I think those are all things that have been detailed.
DX11.
Yeah.
Yeah,
DX11,
DX11 at
that's good.
launch is really pretty.
That's
awesome. I was
crazy.
very excited. I got to announce that. I was like, "Can I announce this?" And they were like, "Yeah." I was like, yeah. So
Hey,
yeah,
that's
like
incredible.
all sorts of little like bits and pieces. But then I think, yeah, patch notes should go out tomorrow. So that's the plan.
Good deal.
So I think you'll see a little couple other odds and ends. Oh, something else is like I don't think this has been talked about very much, but like we're getting the reworked classes pretty much at start. So like Madness Berserker is gonna be in there.
Oh,
Yeah,
what?
I just confirmed that the other day. So
Yes! Let's go!
No shot. Oh my
I
god,
just
dude.
was able to,
What?
like, lock that in and confirm that. Like I was pretty sure, but I was like, I'm gonna like quadruple check.
Oh, that's so exciting.
So
Wow.
yeah, so it's a lot of like there's a lot of like freshness. Like there's definitely a lot of situations where it's like, hey, these are the things we've learned and improved from the other client. Like we get to start with them, which is very exciting.
Oh,
is-
that's
that's
so
so huge.
insane.
Expect.
Wow.
Thank you.
Wow.
I'm
That's
so
okay.
excited.
That's a really good. That's like
Spread
a
very far.
really, really, really good like piece of information. Wow. Holy crap.
There you go. See, I got to
All
say
right.
something exciting. That
All right,
That's-
that was cool. All right, that
that's
was cool. All
full
right, you're invited
spice.
back. You're invited back. All right. PR is gonna call you tomorrow and be like, "We said don't say Madness Berserker."
I
This is the only thing. You had to say
Specifically.
that. I appreciate that. That's really exciting that we're gonna get like up to date class balancing. I think a lot of like active quote unquote veteran players, I think, is going to be really excited about that because they're so accustomed to these characters now since they've been playing on the RU and the KR clients that seeing this come out is like really nice. It's not like, oh, it's a waiting game of when I get to re-experience something that I'm experiencing now. So that's really major. Thank you so much.
Oh, Bard buffs, yes.
Mm-hmm. Paladin buffs.
Go away. No one likes you.
There's gonna be so many paladins and everybody's gonna be so mad. I'm excited.
Yeah. Well, in terms of like the updates that roll out like that, for example, like I know we're kind of like NAs like all over the place. Like typically when a game, like for example like Blade and Soul, the one that I went through the whole thing, like I play the alpha and the beta, they're usually just like a certain amount of very specific time, like right behind Korea. We're kind of all over the place because you guys are trying to deliver as many bits and pieces as you can that are more
Yeah.
recent. So that's awesome. Do you have plans, like, or does Amazon rather have plans with like collaborating with Smilegate? What's kind of the timeline to bring us up to date? Because I know a lot of people in chat have been asking how frequent you're planning to release the classes and stuff like that, like to bring up the entire game up. Like how behind are we going to be from Korea?
So I think it's kind of like a little bit of a tricky question because I don't know like if in the future any changes will be made and like if there will be deviations, like, and I don't know if we'll ever reach 1-to-1. I just like don't have knowledge that far out right now. um there was a part, sorry, there was a part two. Can you rephrase that question? Because I started talking about it, and then there was something else I wanted to say, and I totally just lost my train of thought.
Well, usually, like, just I guess the two parts of the question was how far we are behind Korea, like,
Right.
kind of long term, and how frequent are the plans to release
That's
the
what it was.
classes?
Thank
Yeah,
you.
yeah.
So I probably can't say that unless I want to be have people be very mad at me in Amazon, but there's definitely plans to, release content at irregular cadence with like pretty frequent updates. Like we don't want to like, oh, apparently I'm turning colors again.
Yeah, I'm so sorry. It
No,
looks
it's
like there's
okay.
an internet issue on video is what I'm seeing.
That's fine. I'll be purple.
I'm really
It'll
okay,
fix
but
it.
hold on.
Yeah, and then it hold on, it should fix.
yeah, so sorry, point being,
No, I'm
I
so
totally
sorry.
derailed that question twice. But yeah, so it's hard to say whether there will be exact parity and what point that might be. But we do, we are going to do regular content updates. Like again, this is a new game for a lot of players, so we want to regularly have that regular content, regular updates. I just don't want to give too much of
No, I
right
mean
now.
what you're
Any
like,
marketing plans.
Understandable.
man, no, it's so perfect. The amount of information you're just like slowly just oh man. That's just we're getting there, chat. We have a lot of questions to go. So by the end of it, she's gonna tell us that we are gonna see all of your favorite classes still not get released, but we're gonna continue to buff the blade. So I'm really excited.
Every
about
time,
No.
see, I figured it out. Every time you're dropping new dirt is when you start getting
this.
discolored,
Right?
and so there's something.
Someone's trying to take you down right now.
Amazon conglomerate conspiracy. No, I'm just kidding. I have no idea what's going on. I'm so sorry.
So over the course again, we're gonna keep kind of filtering back into your day-to-day work as a community manager. You had a very iconic post
Oh no.
that made its rounds, right?
Oh
No, I'm
God,
just kidding.
wait.
So the big
It's like, what did I do?
right, no. So one of the big topics of conversation have been servers, East, West, EU, and communication between East and West and EU, things of that nature. One of the big things I know that a lot of us were weary about was the state of the servers. And in you mentioned in a previous forum post that Amazon will be watching the server health and doing what needs to be done if the servers are having issues. Does this include locking out servers early on, or taking certain like shards offline if there's maintenance that need to be done?
I mean, I think it depend. Like, I know there's like lots of different paths depending on kind of what happens. It definitely like I said, we have a much higher server capacities. We have fresh servers on standby.
Mm.
They are not unlimited. Like that's just like not
Yeah, not possible.
feasibly
It
possible.
makes sense. It makes sense.
So it's something to be aware of. So I think it's going to be, how that gets addressed by that team is going to depend on what we're experiencing and kind of
Okay.
what the data is showing and like what the best path forward is going to be.
Yeah.
Because I mean, I know there's a handful of different things they can do, but I'm not going to commit them to it. I don't
No,
want to commit them to the
it
tactics
makes sense.
because
It seems like the servers are
depends.
really gonna feel out, um, like a lot, right? So like one of the big things everyone's been talking about, what server you're going to, since you guys have put out that wonderful server list that's got everyone clamoring to,
Mhm.
sort everything out and organize what they're doing with their guilds and with their friends and things like that. Um, with that being said, do you what servers do you plan on playing on? What side are you gonna choose?
So I think I'm not 100% sure, but I think I'm going Vaulted.
Ooh,
Okay,
okay,
West
okay.
I
gamer.
am West, so I
Westerner, I
like to
love
play
it.
on. But I know a lot of people are going East. But I am on the West. I totally I am on the West. I would like
Hmm.
to have the West ping.
Understandable,
Um,
understandable. Okay,
and it's looking like that's where most of my friends are kind of talking about going. So that's my current plan. We'll
okay,
see.
okay. We're gonna try to change that, chat. We're gonna try to change that. Um, we'll make space for you on Azena. We'll start holding votes to kick people off to get you and your friends on there. How many friends exactly looking at? 5, 10?
I don't have 10 friends.
Well, you have
Okay.
10
Definitely
friends now. I mean,
Right?
we're all right here.
It's
You've
a
got
bit.
like 700 plus that are just anxiously waiting for you to show up. That's exciting. I do appreciate that detail because when you put that post out, I think it communicated very well how closely you guys are really monitoring things on the back end in terms of server health, population health, and things like that. I know that was a big scare with the East West, like, oh, is what if servers are underperforming? Like,
Yeah.
what are we gonna do? And I think you gave a lot of reassurance to that, and that's something that I feel like a lot of game development companies out there kind of don't do. They go, we'll kind of wait and see what happens. But I mean, for now, just play the game. And you gave a lot of reassurance that you are monitoring the situation and you want to make sure that you are providing the best player experience that you possibly
Mhm.
can. I don't know if this translates from the other project that Amazon is working on, Amazon Games is working on, with how you guys kind of saw how that all on Scramble with the smaller populations and people wanting to be on the servers. So I really do appreciate the communication that you've had on the forefront of the
Yeah.
servers and the server health. So thank you
I
very much
mean,
for that.
there's certainly too an amount of doing it live and figuring it out as we go on, and there's
Mhm.
certainly amount although our teams are separate, there's certainly some amount of learning from New World that we are aware of, um, that we kind of want to employ. So there's definitely like I said, I won't commit any of the infrastructure teams to specific tactics right now, but there's definitely a lot that's top of mind for them for sure.
Understandable. Thank you. Thank you for that definitely like that reassurance though. I really do appreciate it.
Mhm.
Um, so in a previous interview you had with one of the homies, Saiwo, if you guys don't know him, he's wonderful. Check him out on YouTube. Dude's an absolute amazing human being. One of the legends of the Lost Ark scene. But you guys had that interview and you guys kind of talked about during the beta what island rewards were like, and we kind of touched on it earlier just a little bit. So has that been adjusted? Like you guys have a new different timeline for how you want players to progress through?
So this is something else I don't have a specific uh like patch note to refer to on,
Hmm.
but I have been told that through conversations with Smilegate and stuff that kind of that balance and pacing has been adjusted. I
Okay.
don't have a one-to-one list or anything
Hmm.
necessarily.
I mean, there's so much
on hand.
hard.
Yeah, but I know it was, Islands of Rewards was part of that feedback, and I know they have made kind of adjustments to pacing to not make it feel like quite as crazy as it was. I also know, like, obviously tier 3 is coming in now, so that's like something to be top of. I mean, a little bit different, but like there have been some other changes to the game too that will probably play into how they have decided to kind of rebalance that. But it was definitely not just like it's definitely been addressed in some capacity.
Okay, cool. And then also, can you give us any details on the voice over IP feedback and stuff like
Uh,
that?
yeah, like is there a specific like
Like
I
people
know there
were
were
when you
several issues with it.
yeah, when you join the guild or is there going to be voice over IP in arena as well?
I don't know off the top of my head. I do I do know you can turn off your setting to not make
Yes.
it auto connect. I
Yeah.
think when you log in, it will be on auto connect for the first time. So like one of the first things you want to do is like turn that off, but there is an option to not proceed to do that.
This is
There were also some like weird issue. I know this might be a little different than what you were asking, but there were
no
some like
good.
bugs and stuff with it that like have been addressed as well.
Okay.
So I know it's been played with a little bit. I'm not 100% sure on PvP. I'd have to check. Like I said, I
Okay.
can't play
No worries.
PvP, so I haven't seen myself.
So with the obviously with the launch anything coming up, there's some classes that didn't make the cut recently. Unfortunately, I know the Destroyer, Lancemaster,
Good.
Reaper, Summoner that was listed that you guys swapped out for the Sork. Thank you, by the way, for
Mhm.
making my newly forming PvP experience so much more testing. It's been wonderful though, nonetheless. But so I know there's been a little bit of fear with new classes being introduced into the game, and with us having so much content already being pre-released. Um, how is it? Do you know of any way that how can I preface this? There's some players that are fearing that they're gonna have trouble catching up to where their current tunes are on their account at a more rapid rate. Will we see any form of an Amazon provided boost for new heroes being introduced in the game, or any type of an in-game event or incentives to earn a progression pass, kind of similar to what KR currently has on their version of the game?
Yeah, so I don't have like an exact plan for like, however many months out some of these things might be. It's definitely something like we're aware of and like I want to make sure we can address because like, the class releases new content should be an exciting moment and we don't want to have a situation where players are like deterred from enjoying new classes, new content. So yeah,
Yeah.
definitely top of mind to be addressed. One of the things there will be early on, it might be a spoiler, but you will be able to, we will not be like selling power passes right away. You will be able to earn a couple in game. Um
Oh,
so
game.
that is something
Oh,
Well, perfect timing. So.
let's go.
so that is something
Oh,
that
crap.
like I I mean there's lots of new classes, but there will be something that you can like you can hold on to, of course, depending on when. But yeah, like you said, you get
Yeah.
far out and you're still releasing new classes. Like
All right.
it's definitely gonna need to be
Can
addressed.
you going off of that question, can you detail? I think I believe it was you that made the announcement. Um, I'm hoping I'm quoting the right community manager here and saying this. If not, I'm lying and just disregard what I'm saying and ignore it. Okay.
Perfect.
But the knowledge transfer in the game, is that coming to the NA launch? I believe you made an announcement. I just want to, if you just
Yeah,
shake your head, no.
it was
If
mentioned, I believe so. With the time I said it was definitely in there, and I
hmm
have not rechecked. But yeah, it should be in there as far as I'm aware.
And
I
DJ, can you, for the
think it was
people
just a
then?
couple weeks ago, so it shouldn't have changed.
Okay,
All
all
my
right. So nothing's changed as of
timelines
right now.
blurring together.
Yeah, DJ, you're
Mm,
on the KR servers currently,
yeah.
rocking it on a daily basis, playing the mini characters that you play over there in PvP. Can you detail from a PvE standpoint for new people in chat what the knowledge pass is? Are you aware of what it
Oh,
is?
yeah. So in your stronghold, once you get to a certain upgrade of like stuff in your stronghold. You have a an NPC that you can talk to that it costs gold to go up. You bring a character up to certain tiers. So like it takes like 8 hours to bring them up to the North Vern. So you'd be at level 50 with a new character. Takes 8 hours and like 600 gold. But then after that, you can upgrade them again to go to Roendel and then Yorn and then Phaeton and then Punika. And it costs more and more gold and more time each time. So you can eventually have like an alt that you've literally never touched up to like 1302 content
But
and ready for
just,
tier 3.
just to clarify, though, you do need to have another character that has
Yes.
entered that stage of
Yes,
content.
you
Just
do.
so we're clear, like,
Yes.
so that way people aren't thinking like, oh, you could just sit and like give gold to like boost a character up. You do need
Also,
to simultaneously have another character that is also progressing through
there's
that,
another
along with a
caveat
gear
as
score
well.
that needs to be met.
So the other caveat is that you can't just do this one time on one character, get to max rank, and just do it on 6 alts. You have to do it again. So like you do the first character up to tier 3, and then you do the boosted character up to tier 3. You would have to do another third character up to tier 3 before you could do it again on another character. I think it's
Gotcha.
1 or 2 on the second time around. So don't
Like a
quote me
tag
on.
team system.
Yeah, so
Right?
you're
Yeah,
definitely
okay.
gonna have to play the game, obviously, to get more than one alt up.
Okay.
So
Yeah, I like that. Yeah, that when that came out, I was really excited as well because
okay.
again, as much as I love the story, I also like to run in-game content religiously over and over and over. If I'm not practicing in the arenas, and having alts obviously allows me to experience the game in different lights. So that's definitely really cool. That we're gonna get that as a part of our release with the NA. So I'm really excited about that.
Sweet.
Do you guys like over at Amazon? Do you guys have any direct communication with your like Russian and Japanese counterparts, or is that basically just like a separate thing that's just like a Smilegate thing because they're the ones that are
Yeah,
issuing that?
we have not worked with them, at least as far as I'm aware. Because we're pretty much just in partnership with Smilegate. And they're in, I would say parallel partnerships, but we don't really intersect.
Okay.
Understandable.
Okay, yeah, makes sense.
Speaking of the progression, do you guys have like an internal time frame in which you think a particular player will reach tier 3, like the average player, let's say?
I mean, I don't think so. Like like there's so many. What's hard is there's going to be a ton of new players. There's a ton of veteran players. Like there's such a wide scope of people that are going to be coming into this game. Like there's going to be plenty of filthy casuals. I think too, like myself. That's why I say that.
Same.
Um, so I don't know that we necessarily have like an exact idea of like how long it'll take people. One of the things we are doing is, we're not, regardless of how long I guess the average player quote unquote takes, we are not like releasing all tier 3 content at once. Like we are going to be kind of releasing it out over time. So even if players kind of get there quickly, they'll be paced out a little bit.
Okay.
Yeah, the raids aren't out yet, like
Yeah.
the big
Yeah.
raids. So you'll get to tier 3 and kind of just sit there for the most part.
Yeah, so we want to, bring those in and have some players able to get there, but
I love that, dude.
not
That
necessarily all
January
at once.
announcement. The we have tier 3, but not Argos. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
keep that in mind. Like you're gonna have
Good.
tier 3 content,
Yeah.
but like
You'll
you're
have
not
to-
going straight to Argos. Calm down, everybody. We understand like that's a huge jump from going and doing the current content to getting like you're like really entering going into the trueness of the end game for
Yeah,
Lost Ark.
and I
So
mean,
that
maybe
was amazing.
I'm not 100% sure. Obviously, there's some of this that we have like planned, but maybe that's something we figure out real quick once people are in game. Okay, how fast are most people playing through?
Mhm.
I'm sure once we have that data, it'll be super helpful as well.
Okay.
If
Yeah.
I could jump in super
Yeah,
quick
yeah.
with like a somewhat relevant question because like with tier 3 on release, like I guess like bare bones of tier 3, being unreleased. That's still quite a bit of content compared to like other launches of the game. So I was wondering if like because I know a lot of arena oriented players like myself, or there are a lot of others who have like not touched PvE, but they're excited to do that on NA and EU. Do you know if there's going like this question has been like I've been itching to find out like if ranked is going to be delayed or not for
I
PvP?
think I have an answer to that question, but I don't want to say it here in case I'm wrong because I'm not
Okay.
100% sure on it. I believe I know what the plan for that is, but I don't want to share that.
No
in case
worries. No
I'm
worries.
That's
wrong or
okay.
it changes. I know. I'm sorry. I've seen
No.
it.
It's okay. You can tweet it later
I just
and
want to
start
like
the storm.
I'm gonna like double check before I say
Okay.
anything here.
Well, I guess my next question would be kind of steering away from like the content part of it and going towards the content creation. I know you said it's not like your team, your main team, or your main responsibility. You just kind of help out here and there. But if you do know any details about how Lost Ark is being integrated with the Twitch platform, because obviously Amazon and Twitch are one and the same. And like with drops and prime rewards, because I
Yeah.
know like the like Legends of Lost Ark, they're getting their own Twitch drops, I think,
Mhm.
as far as I understand. And then people in the creator program, they're also getting Twitch drops, but they're not the same ones. So how is that integration going to work?
So, I mean, Legends of Lost Ark is kind of its own like event thing that's, happening to kind of help build excitement, bring in new eyes, like be, a beat to follow along with for kind of new players to discover the game when it launches. Obviously there are drops there, like you said. Yeah, the content creator program is going to have drops as well. There are going to be Twitch, like there's so many things to Twitch. There's going to be Twitch Prime rewards.
Oh.
At some point, I believe. Is it even called Twitch Prime anymore? It might be Prime Gaming now.
I think it's
Yeah,
Prime
I
Gaming
think it is. Yeah.
rewards. Yeah, Prime Gaming rewards.
That will be like part of it as at some point. Um, I'm not 100% sure when that's rolling out, but there's some cool kind of things bundled away there. Something else that's not necessarily rewards. We are gonna have an extension called like the Lost Ark. I believe it's called Lost Ark Armory, which is gonna like people are gonna be able to integrate and then like show your viewers like your builds, your stats, your items.
Oh,
So that'll be fun. That'll be fun.
Oh,
So we
that's a
have all
lot more
sorts of little
that's
information.
little
really
things.
exciting.
That'll be really
Yo,
cool.
what?
Okay, I love
So
that. Just
it
drops
doesn't
that
just.
casually. Oh yeah, we're also gonna have that. Yeah, no problem.
What?
No big deal. You know?
Wait, hold on. Hold on. We got to come back to that one. Wait a minute. Wait, hold on. You're not going to just get that one off real quick, okay? Wait, hold on. To talk about that real quick. Can you give a little bit of like a little bit more detail in terms of what it would display? As a content creator, I love spreadsheets. I talk about it all the time. I love linking people to stuff. But if an on-screen display that keeps the viewers locked in and they can see how my build's changing when I'm going from a PvP build or my PvE build, what engravings I'm using. Is it gonna detail like all like my engravings, my
I have
gems,
not
my
seen like the UI with my own eyeballs,
Mhm.
so I'm not like 100% sure. But I know the idea is for like user stats, user like items, kind of armor. Like I believe
Yeah,
that's the idea. I haven't seen like
the
I
full
haven't seen like
implementation?
a draft or anything
Well,
like how
does this
detailed it is.
translate across to other variants? Like so for instance, someone on the KR platform or on the RU or on the JP platform, will those content creators also be able to utilize this tool, or is this
I
something kind of unique to us?
think it's gonna be unique to this region because or not this region, but like NAEU because of
Mhm.
just the way it's gonna be integrated in the back end.
Okay.
That's also one of like the reasons like it's something like a little bit different that we'll have to address, but like we not everything is immediately compatible with the other regions of the
Yeah,
game.
no,
And
I
like I
understand
said,
that.
like we don't necessarily work with those publishers. So that was one of the
Yeah.
reasons like directory wide drops aren't really something we can do because if someone is watching a KR player and earns a
Mhm.
drop and they play in the KR server, like they can't redeem it because
Because it's
items aren't
unique to them. Yeah.
necessarily it's
No, that
integrated into our
that
like
that
base,
definitely
and
makes
it's not
sense.
necessarily in the other client, like the
Mhm.
specific item.
Yeah.
So that's definitely like part of the difficulty about like sharing the directory and stuff. And I know there was some confusion around that with the drops.
Yeah, okay. That definitely puts it into a better perspective
Hmm.
on that. I really appreciate that announcement too. That was so subtle.
Yeah.
Like Laufie said, that was
We
so
talked
subtle,
about
but
it a
like
little bit. I wasn't the
it was
first.
like
Yeah.
hinted toward. I remember Greg like kind of throwing that in there, and everyone in chat was like, "Yo, more like we don't care about the drops anymore. Go back to the extension." Like what? Like this is insane. Like that was such that was so out of the box and like it steps away from the game and kind of like it's a reintroduction for the viewer and the community to kind of get established for like how everyone else's builds are working and stuff like that. Because I do know that a lot of people tap into like Laufey stream when she's barding, DJ stream when he's playing the paladin and stuff like that. And they always ask, hey, what's your build? Like, what are you doing and stuff like that. So that's a really great tool that you're introducing for everyone, not just content creators, but
Mm.
anyone on the Twitch platform itself that's playing on the NAEU client. So that's really 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 great.
Yeah.
Yeah, man, wow. So with the Prime, we talked earlier about the Prime freebies that you guys would be doing. Is this something that's going to be on like a daily drop system, a weekly, a monthly drop system? Because I know with other games you do like once a month, you do like a check-in drop, and then there's sometimes I know you guys are with the regular content creators. We're getting a content drop period where it's going to go from the 8th to the 6th of March, which we're going to be able to initiate drops. But are you guys looking at doing like a monthly drop for players in Lost Ark?
I don't actually know. That's a little bit out of my wheelhouse. Like I know we
Okay.
don't want to just do like a one and done, like never
Yeah.
again, obviously.
Mhm.
But I don't know what the exact timelines are kind of looking like right now. I just
Okay, that's
not
understandable.
up to date.
Yeah, I don't want to press it. You're already
No,
giving us so
yeah,
much
no,
fire
I
right now.
genuinely
So
have no
yeah,
idea. I just haven't
yeah.
looked into that since it's
Yeah,
not my
I
big
know that
thing.
we've had a lot of I see a lot of people in the community that are so excited at the fact that like Amazon Games has such a great platform like Twitch like
Mhm.
in as like a tool for them to utilize, and you guys have done it very well with New World and other games that are on the platform that you guys have integrations with. So we think at least I like to think that we are going to have an amazing integration with Twitch and Lost Ark for viewers and the community as a whole. So I'm really, really excited about that.
Yeah, for sure.
Speaking of any sort of integration, Stream Deck compatibility question mark?
I don't think I know now. I have to ruin everything. I we're not looking at it right now.
Yeah.
Can't
I
be mobile.
don't
Damn.
know
It was just a
if it
curious
ever
if you
be
guys.
a possibility,
Alright.
but we're just not really. It's
Okay.
not really on the radar.
So speaking of Steam, is there anything else besides the Founders Pack you guys plan on making purchasable directly through Steam, or will we see all transactions kind of play out through the monetization within the game?
That is a good question that I also 100% don't have the answer to, so I don't want to answer in case I'm wrong.
No worries.
Okay, no, that's again
Uh,
these are spitball questions at this
No,
point,
no, it's
so
Yeah.
we
totally
really
fine.
appreciate it.
question. There was one in chat that somebody asked. Are the founders, the founders skins, are they tradable?
I also don't want to answer that question
Okay, because
because I
yeah,
don't 100% know like exactly at this moment, so I don't want to like
no worries,
give any
no worries at all.
misinformation.
Have you and the rest of the staff been enjoying the memes coming out of the community lately? Like the East versus West memes and
I've
Stoops.
had like DMs. They're pretty funny. We'll definitely like send them to each other in Slack.
Oh,
I just want to
It's
give
like
a
a nice
huge shout
break.
out to Zessen. Like, that
Zesson
man
and Black
Zesson,
Menace,
thank
they're
has
going
been
crazy.
compiling the
The
memes
Reddit one,
beyond
like front
belief.
page of Reddit, is always pretty good. Um, is always pretty good. I hope you are also enjoying. I'm not responsible for them, but the social media memes I feel like have been.
Yeah, they're pretty
They-
good.
they-
Yeah.
They've been, they've been,
They're
yeah,
good.
they've been
Not
kind of
me. I
good.
don't want to take credit, but
Yeah.
Some of them have they've taken me back to high school where you're just being teased the entire time with something and you're just like, please just give me the game at this point.
They'll let
Like-
me
it's
in.
almost there.
Right,
Let me
the
in
let
was so
let me
good.
in was really
Oh.
good in the like what are you doing up late at night? Hope you're thinking about me. Oh man. It's like I'm playing and I'm like crying because I'm like I am and I really just want to be on low ping and just be playing you right now. So that was really good. I really like that. So I know that you're I kind of did a little bit of background research about you, right? We want to come fully locked in. You're a cat mom, you're a community manager, but you also are a cosplayer. And you do like a really good job, by the way. Not to sound
Thanks.
weird, but you do a
No,
really
no.
good job. Who are you looking forward to cosplaying as anyone in the game?
I honestly like hadn't really thought about it at all, and then I was like, oh, I don't know. Like I feel like I don't know who I could pull off. I don't like cosplay as often as
That
I like
island
used
girl.
to.
You could
I
be that
know, right?
island girl.
The random NPC that looks exactly. I'm gonna have to find that name. I'll find
Dude.
her. That'll be like. I guess it won't be my mission. On
Someone in chat
Tuesday, 'cause
said
I'm not gonna spend
Albershad
time.
would be great, or Brelshaza
Oh,
would
that'd
be
be cool
really
as
great.
hell. But
King-
like
You
I
do a
King-
Brelshaza, it's over. It's over.
cannot. That is out of my thing. I'm a Black Fang like stan, but I don't think I can pull her off.
Ooh, okay.
I'm trying to think.
You got options. I mean, there's a lot of characters. Like, there's a
There are
lot.
Girl Jaha
Even
would
for
be,
some of the
like,
NPCs that are walking around, you're like,
dream.
damn, low key, like, that's a well designed character. Like,
Yeah.
you just
No,
have
it's
one
just
line that you repeat to me
beautiful.
every day.
But some of the designs are like wild, and I'm like, I don't even know how.
Oh,
I'm not that
yeah.
talented.
Yeah, I mean, I saw some of the stuff that you did with like other games. I don't want to start naming things, but yeah, no, I was really excited to kind of see if, like what you would do. Maybe if we catch you on the next Lost Ark Twitch stream,
Ha!
maybe you'll appear. Like, that would be great.
Hey,
That'd
yeah,
be
now
interesting.
now I feel like I should do something. We'll see.
Ooh,
I'll think
okay.
about it. I
Do you
gotta.
have plans? Because I know Sai is kind of the main guy for the Lost Ark streams, but do you have more plans? Because that was super exciting when you appeared there, especially when with such
Wow.
great news. We want
I
more of
was so
that.
happy I was able to share that. I'll be around. Yeah, Sai
Yeah.
will be the main host. You know, I mean, I have he's very good at like hosting and keeping things going. Like he's awesome. But I'll be around sometimes, not necessarily all the time, but I'll be around.
Keep coming with the good news and
Good,
leave the
yeah.
bad news on the
Anytime you want to
forums.
drop
Yeah.
leaks or
I'm just
anything,
gonna show up.
shoot me a message. We'll make some room for you on the podcast.
Right?
Throw an emergency
100%.
episode up. Also,
Oh my lord!
sci-fi, if you're out there, hit me up. Bring me
Right?
on as well. You can do like a full cast of friends.
Right?
Awesome. So Soulfist main, right? Some people were asking in chat that you
I'm
were.
gonna be so bad. I'm like I probably shouldn't play like a soul fist with like my any name. I would be recognized.
Nah, you'd be fine. It's just you just gotta have good timing. That's all.
I'm gonna roll a sorceress for sure too.
Okay.
I
Nice,
actually haven't
nice.
gotten to play that class just because
Super fun.
I haven't had time to start a new class since that change was made.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think that'll be fun.
How often do you think that players are gonna miss the Spirit Bomb Awakening on bosses when they
All
first
the
start
time.
playing Soulfist? Okay.
Constantly. I want I
Constantly.
want like somebody to do like a what are is it like Twitch fails accurate?
Yeah.
Somebody gotta do, like, reconciliation. Like I'm putting this out there now. This is a tier idea I'm giving to someone for free. Just go do it.
Zessin.
There you
Like,
go.
all
Listen,
the,
Pork chop.
all the players, all the streamers missing
Every
stuff
miss
and
soul
freaking
fist.
out.
Oh
That would
man.
be so funny.
The worst is like when you're like I got this. I'm gonna kill this boss, and then it's like you miss your ult, and you're like, hey, what happened was my wired keyboard lost its Bluetooth connection, and sand is in my eyes,
Yeah.
and I didn't know today was Sunday, so sorry.
Don't blame me. Okay.
The Mercury retrograde threw things off for me. My bad.
Constantly.
So I want to start kind of like rounding it out and opening the platform up for our viewers because I know we have a ton of questions that have been coming in. But I do have just a couple more that I'd like to kind of hit you with before we open it up and then kind of have just an open discussion from there. What should I have asked you that I didn't know enough to ask?
Oh man. I don't know.
You want to start? You want to go with like you as a community manager? You want to specify? You want to get
I don't know. Like if you have anything else, I can't think of anything like just off the top of my head though.
yeah. If there's any like last minute leak you want to
You're
just throw out
basically
there?
politely asking for a leak here. Like,
I was like totally not even thinking about it like that.
Yeah, no, just in general, maybe just about you, like just in general. Like I said, I don't want to divulge of it. You have a private life, realistically, right? But like it just there's just certain things maybe I feel that maybe we just didn't maybe touch down on that you want people to know, like that you're not an AI, controlled by a cat. That's a big one. I saw that in chat a bunch. That
Mm.
yeah.
If I had cat
So.
brain, I would probably be much happier.
Just sleeping on the day of launch.
I
they'll
know,
be fine.
literally.
Okay.
'Cause I have a cat and she has not a care in the world. Yeah, no, I can't. I'll sit on this, but I can't think of anything like off the top of my head. It's
Yeah, if you
funny
have
to like answer questions about myself too. Like it's not something I'm
Yeah.
like I'm totally fine with it, but it's not something I'm used to doing. So I'm like, oh, I want to talk about this because I'm so cool, you know. I don't know. I
I
don't
mean,
think.
you've done enough. You've given us a lot of information
yeah.
to hold us over until Tuesday. Even though tomorrow I'm gonna wake up and I'm still gonna be begging for more information. It's
I
just
know.
what it
I'm gonna
is.
wake up tomorrow. And
Just block him, Roxx. Like,
well, the fun thing to remember is like anything. Like obviously, we're trying to get to as many like answers for stuff as we can, and as much information and like out the gate as fast as possible. But like anything that like is like not addressed or just like missed, you'll know on Tuesday.
Yeah, it makes sense. It makes sense.
It's right here. Yeah. So there's just like
Yeah.
a lot of so much. Everybody's so busy. And obviously we're doing everything we can to do as much as we can. But if there's like one weirdly specific thing that was missed, like here we go. It'll be right
Absolutely.
here.
So I kind of opened it up a little bit for questions in chat, and we are now loaded. But I'm gonna do my best to weed through these. So question about presets. Like, so I know before when you were creating a character on NA, it was an individual preset for NA. You couldn't even transfer the file over from Korea or Russia. Is it still like that?
I since we don't work with the Korean or Russian clients at
Mhm.
all, like I just can't.
Yeah.
I wouldn't expect it to work. I don't know if it will or not. But I like can't guarantee that it will because, you know, it's not really something we've even tested because those just aren't our clients. So we can't really like guarantee that'll necessarily work.
Okay. And people are asking about like release stuff, but obviously that'll come with the roadmap you guys have that you're working on eventually. You said you
Yes.
yeah. So
Well, we're
guys,
trying to get a roadmap. Well, we will have a roadmap at some point after launch. It is. It will happen. We got to get through launch, obviously, and let launch breathe. But after that, we're working on some form of roadmap to share with the community.
okay. And then it was touched on in another instance where the name lockout. How often are you guys planning on releasing the names that are locked out?
So there isn't necessarily like a scheduled cadence right now. I
Okay.
think we have to, you know, see how what makes sense depending on like how things kind of go. I do really want to push for like when that happens, like giving a heads up. Obviously, that's definitely something I am intending to do, so that players are like well aware beforehand that it's coming. But there isn't necessarily like a every however many months or anything that we're planning right now because I think it, you know, will depend on what makes sense. Just kind of as a game, like we will make that decision based on what happens.
Okay. Do we know if any of the platinum founders are dyeable at all?
Or what?
Are they
Sorry.
dyeable? Like
I don't think so.
yeah.
I
I
do
know that
not
most of
believe
them.
so because they're like the, you know, platinum. They're functioning a little bit differently than the different servers. Like they're the, you know, founders skin.
There, the Northern Lawmaker. There's like 3 different colors you can choose from, right? There's white,
Yeah, and
red,
you
and black.
select when you open it up, I
Um,
believe.
That's cool.
is
Yeah.
it for female as well? Because I saw you guys have only really talked about the one color. Does female have more colors as well?
I think they both have 3.
Okay. Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
It's like I think they might. I don't remember what they're listed as. I was in game doing it, and there were 3 when I did it. I'm just trying to remember off of top of mind.
Are people are asking, are macros allowed?
I will have to ask my customer service team.
It seems really
You know,
weird because it can be interpreted accessibility wise. Like people are like,
Right.
"Hey, I'm
Yeah,
disabled,"
there's
but
definitely.
also people
I'm
use it
sure
for
there's
cheats. Like,
some line. Yeah, like definitely accessibility is one thing, but you know, blowing things up, going crazy is another thing.
yeah.
And I'm not 100% sure like where that line is, so that is something that I would have to ask CS about.
So speaking about customer service, what does your customer service capacity looks like, and like what does it look like? And then does Amazon have any approach to banning bots that may become rampant at any point?
I'm not 100% sure on capacity just because I have, limited visibility on kind of that team. Like I work with some of our, leads and stuff, but not necessarily every single person on that team. Um, for bots and stuff, like it's definitely something we're aware of and we'll be like watching out for. Like it's always tricky to talk about like, oh, like what will you do? How will you find out? Because the
Yeah,
moment you like
expose
share
it.
that,
Yeah,
Yeah.
it
yeah.
can
No,
kind
it
of
makes
reverse
sense.
on
Yeah,
you
you don't
a
have to
bit.
give us details, but it is
But
something
yeah,
that you are
it's
monitoring.
something that we're aware of and
Okay,
Um,
nice.
aware of in any MMO, I should say. And yeah, well,
question: are amethyst crystals the blue crystals that like we kind of reference? Like, there's royal crystals, or what are amethyst crystals?
that is a new thing that hopefully I can share more details about very soon.
Okay.
But that is new, so that's not a translation of anything. That is something that will be unique to our client.
Okay.
I don't want to leak any announcement
No,
plans.
no worries. I mean,
48 hours, DJ.
we
48
I
hours.
I'm asking questions from chat. What? I'm seeing stuff. I don't even know what amethyst crystals were either, and I was like, what? What?
Same. I
Yeah.
saw the verbiage and I was confused.
Is there a preparation for individual server capacity, like such as like we have a lot of people targeting Azena to join on Azena? Is like, do you feel like there's just gonna be a ton of lockout?
I mean, I guess see, it's so easy to say like, yeah, it does look like there's a lot of people, but I guess it depends on how many end up day one. It's kind of
Yeah.
hard to like estimate beforehand. But I mean, there's definitely awareness. Like we're definitely like our team, has the list of what servers we think are gonna get hit harder too. And that's something that they have as a resource to keep an eye out for.
And then also, how are we looking? What's Pheons looking like, or Pheons? I think they were
They
called. I
are
think.
in the game to use in the auction house.
Okay.
They do exist.
Okay.
I
Someone,
do not
some,
100% know if there are like differences or discrepancies compared because I'm not like full aware of every detail of some of the other clients, but they're there.
Yeah.
so someone in chat asked there was when the Pheon coins were like shown off and what like you could use them for. In other clients, you couldn't use them for books, but they were in the NA client. Was that just a beta build type thing, and it's something we may not see,
I
or is that still the case?
I'm not 100% certain.
Okay, so
Yeah, I'm not 100% certain.
it's okay. Yeah, it's okay.
I don't want to. Yeah.
I have 2 questions
Oh,
on the
go
top of
for
my
it.
head.
Yes,
If I
please, please.
could. Do you these are like you could 100% not know these and that's okay, but I'm curious cuz so right now in Russia, their Russian most recent patch is that Arena has total 1250 skill points. Korea currently has 1,000 total skill points in PvP in Arena. Do you know which one we're getting? Because I've heard so many different things from so many people that are claiming to have insider information, and I'm just like,
I
like stop
also
lying to me.
do not know top of mind.
Okay.
Yeah. Soon. I mean, I can always try to find out, but a lot of these things are soon. It's hard. Yeah. Like I always
It's
wish I had every piece of information,
No,
but
it's
some of
yeah.
the
totally
things
good.
are so like
It's like
nitty gritty. It's like, okay, there's
yeah, like
one
you're
patch note somewhere,
yeah,
some
we've been playing the game for
place.
3 years and
Yeah.
you're newer. It's like such a nuanced mechanic that like yeah,
No,
like
no,
I
totally.
totally understand. My other question was with tier 3 being available right away, are there any changes in progression with tier 1 and tier 2? Like is there going to be like kind of bottlenecking or time gating things that aren't there? Like for example, like is the gear enchantment in tier 2 going to be 100% success chance, or is it going to be like lowered so that people progress a little bit slower and don't just rush to tier 3? Do you know?
I'm also not 100% sure on that one
Okay,
either.
no problem.
Especially
Go
in
ahead, Rufio.
comparing.
Oh, okay. Sorry. Someone in chat asked about the weekly resets for launch. Will we experience a weekly reset this Thursday, or would it come the week
I also
after?
don't know
Oh,
No.
yet.
No.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's all right. We're just kind of like at this point. We're just kind of
No, you're
Eh,
fine. I
pulling
just it's
Yeah.
questions.
some of
So
the hyper specific things are like not,
yeah.
I mean, like I totally wish I had answers, and
these
like
are
if I had more
all
time I could probably get them, but like I have not read like a list of like a million
u-
patch notes
usually questions
necessarily.
like that are coming from players that are trying to create a timeline for themselves to like
Oh no,
optimize
totally.
Yes.
stuff. And it's like,
Oh,
Yeah.
absolutely,
so
yeah.
you like want to this is also to temper like chats like, hey guys,
Yeah.
like she's still human. She's played this game a finite amount of time,
No,
like,
no,
and
like
no,
I
like
Yeah.
we've played it for years, like, and so
no, like fully understandable too, but some of the things it's like, necessarily skill points or something, like I wouldn't think
yeah,
like
I
if
mean
there's not other communications going on around it at a certain time, like it's a question I could always investigate and find out, but I don't necessarily like know right away.
we'll find out real quick.
Well, that's true
Less than
too.
48
But I mean,
hours. But it's just something that in the PvP community we discuss it a lot because it does change the idea of how the game works in PvP. Some combos don't work and stuff changes a
mhm.
lot. And so it's like it changes a lot of the structure that we're used to. And so
Yeah,
just
totally. No,
curious.
totally makes sense. I
Yeah.
just like for some things that I haven't heard talked about too much, it's like I don't always have all of the info on unless I do some more diving deep, which like I'm always happy to do, like even after lunch. But
Okay.
Mhm.
like you said, a lot of these things will become apparent real quick.
Um
Yeah.
are founder packs a region slash server locked? So like I imagine if you redeem it from the website or where it's in your inventory and you can't make a character on or EU or you don't, and then you try and make a character on NA East, would it be available still?
So you can only like redeem, like you'll only get your founders pack delivered to you once. So like if you've created a character on like a server and have like are on it and like in there, it will get delivered to that character.
Okay,
Um, yeah, like it won't deliver to more than one server.
gotcha. Okay.
What are the chances of, and this is like a super vague question, but what are what are the chances of like our like build on an NA EU being of it being different from what KR has? So for like the example that I'm using is I created a thread on the forums that kind of got quite a bit of traction because people were on board asking for ranks to be character specific, not server wide. And like if there's enough people backing that up, what are the chances of us being like different from Kiara? Is it something that you have to talk with Smilegate and have them
Yeah.
all be on the same page with?
I don't necessarily think there's like a requirement to be like fully on parity with other clients. Smilegate is very like open to player feedback and interested to player feedback. So whether that means it's for our client or maybe like if it is like the best thing ever, they might want to bring it to KR, but it's not necessarily. I wouldn't say it's necessarily a requirement. Um,
Nice.
like
I
a
love
lot
that.
of these things too, it depends on how much work is it to do that, how much what's
Yeah.
feasible, like what can we do. So
Yeah.
it's
And the reason
definitely
I asked, yeah.
situation based, but no, we are like they are very interested in what this community is going to end up wanting.
Yeah, like the reason I asked is because I know this was in the game, so this wouldn't be like any new development on your guys' part. Like Smilegate wouldn't have to do that much extra work to create something brand new because this used to be in the game and then they changed it out of it.
Mm.
So I feel like it would be like an easier implementation than asking for something like brand new. Like people are asking for WASD movement and stuff. Like that's just
Yeah.
brand new stuff. But yeah, thank you. That's
Mhm.
really great to hear that they're on board with feedback like that.
Yeah.
Any word on the mileage store that has existed in the other regions?
It does not exist in our build.
Okay.
Like,
Okay, I
Right.
kind of
that
like
is-
that.
I do too.
yeah,
Wait,
we
the what?
don't have it. I'm
Oh,
not
the thing
sure
for
if-
The
spending money.
cashback stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not sure if elements of it, like, again, I have not played on. I'm blurry. I'm nominally familiar with it on other servers. I haven't played it. I'm not sure if like any elements, like certain rewards or anything you could get from it, will be implemented elsewhere. But the system itself is not on our build.
Nice.
Oh, not bad. Okay, that's good.
No
Makes
whale
me-
mounts.
Are there any plans for like any sort of crossover from like New World? Like any sort of like, hey, there's a weapon skin over here that we like a lot. I don't know. That seemed
I
like
don't
an
know.
interesting
Not
question.
that I've heard of, but that'd be cool. I guess.
Right? Like I thought about
That
that
would
and I
be
was like,
pretty
that
cool,
actually is
yeah.
a
That would
pretty
be
good
kinda
question
sweet.
to ask.
I mean, like some of the aesthetics. Lost Ark has all sorts of aesthetics, so like it could
Yeah.
work. But I don't know. That would be cool.
Yeah, that would actually be really neat. I'd like to see something like that.
Rufio, you seen anything at the moment? I'm still
Me?
I've
No,
got so much.
I'm watching this chat pumble through, and there's a lot of questions that we've already discussed. So I'm like,
Mhm.
oh, here is a good one. Something that's kind of become, again, I don't play on the KR server much, but on the RU server, it's kind of cool, and I feel like it's become a staple in NA released games, NAE released games. Are we gonna see any form of like a battle pass system or anything like a reward system for doing certain quests within the game to unlock materials or cosmetics and things like that?
Yeah, I know it's a thing on other servers. We don't have it planned for launch.
Okay.
The future's
Obviously
always
something
whatever
down the
future is,
line that we
might
can
be.
see.
Yeah, so hard to say like if that might ever change, but it's not planned for launch.
Okay.
Okay. Cool.
There,
Interesting.
there's a couple things I just wanted to let chat. I'm seeing stuff that we've actually already answered a lot of these questions. Like I said, friends, we've been live for quite a while. So if you have a chance, I will be putting this up on YouTube. You could search through it, and I'll put timestamps in. We'll have all that fun stuff, so you'll be able to find the questions you're looking for. But some of the stuff like Ireland rewards we've already talked about, server capacity we've talked about. So friends, just so you're aware. Go ahead,
Real
Rufus.
quick, DJ.
Mhm.
In terms of the community, the Lost Ark community is absolutely phenomenal. We like just love the game beyond belief, right?
Mm-hmm.
Is there any? Can we expect to see any type of community contests, like designed avatars, pets, mounts, very similar to how kind of KR operates? I know that they're very open to taking community recommendations in terms of like cool outfits or drawings or simple things like that. Like if we get on the forums and we shout loud enough, can we see Roxx on the island voice acting? Like, are we gonna see are we gonna see any type of like community driven events from Amazon? Not directly,
Yeah.
no competitive or anything like that, but
No, I got you.
just things like that.
I think it would be really cool. I always love stuff like that. Again, that's something with, especially with, Amazon and kind of different laws depending on where you are. It would definitely
Yeah.
be something we'd have to like investigate with like legal to see how would be able to do that, like how feasible it is, all sorts of fun stuff like that. But I love stuff like that. So if there's
Yeah.
an
Yes.
opportunity, that would be super cool. Like just me personally, I think it's awesome.
Question about the Crystaline aura. Do we have a confirmed like quantity or amount of what it's going to cost for like USD?
I don't know because I know you can purchase it with crystals as
Oh,
well.
okay. Mm-hmm.
That's something else I would have to check.
Okay.
So
No worries.
there's been quite a bit, and I know this is something that was kind of on your prior interview with Wasaiwo. You kind of touched on this a little bit, but obviously with months time, there's
Mhm.
could possibly changes. Has there been any indication of Australian servers coming online, or is it still we're still looking at them
I mean, right
connecting
now,
outward?
yeah, we just don't have any plans for it. I mean, it's,
Okay.
it's something like there has been a lot of feedback on that for, since we pretty much announced that. Um, and it's something we'll continue to look at, but right now like there's no update I can give. There aren't any new plans
Okay.
on that.
Mhm.
Yeah, I was curious because I know that was something that a lot of like our Australian community members
Totally.
were asking
And
during
it's
the Sidewall interview. So I wanted to just
definitely
kind of see if there
understandable,
was
but
any
right
headway
now
made on
there's
that.
not any change.
Okay. Okay.
If I could ask
Yeah,
kind of like a
please.
two in one question, um, how if you know and if you're allowed to share, on launch, I mean we could just wait 2 days, like it's
Hmm.
not a big deal. But how dive like not diverse, how filled with costumes is the cash shop going to be on launch? Like, are we just going to have the two ones from beta plus the packs, or is it going to be like quite a bit of them in there?
I
Ooh, are we
I
gonna
don't
have
have a full list.
options?
It's definitely more than you saw in beta.
Oh,
So
Okay,
there's
okay.
definitely going to
Okay.
be because there
nice.
wasn't very
Right.
much in beta. I
No,
think.
True.
there's just like
Yeah,
No.
there was. I was
two
going
of
to say,
them.
yeah. So there's definitely going to be more options, and then
Okay,
they'll kind of rotate out at different times. But I don't have like the
To
nice.
to
list of
piggyback
standard.
on that as well, just so you guys know, the one that was in the closed beta shop was part of a different pack for other regions. So like the suit
Hmm.
that we got was part of like in RU and KR, it was part of a battle pass. So us just getting it in the shop is different. So to
Yeah.
Yeah.
temper people's expectations of like, hey, this battle pass is coming, like da da da, it's gonna be different. It's gonna be a little bit different.
Yeah, absolutely.
And
And then
so,
my
but
other half of the question was, do you know which? So I I'm a huge sucker for like seasonal events and stuff.
mm,
Do you know if we're getting something for like a Valentine's Day or a New Year or
I
Lunar
don't
New
think
Year or something?
just because we're so close to
We're
launch,
close,
I don't
yeah.
think
mhm.
anything's happening quite that quickly. But like, I am a sucker for those things too. So hopefully in the
Yeah.
future. But
Dude,
yeah, just so close to launch, it's like
true end game,
It,
looking stylish.
so
Yes.
accurate.
one of the big topics of conversation is every time I look at like the Korean content creators, they all have these really amazing pieces of merchandise behind them in the form of
Yes, the
is
figurines.
there
Yep.
can we expect to see t-shirts, hats, sweaters,
We're
Mokoko plushies?
I'll buy all of them.
trying to figure out if that's something we'll be able to do. Just depending on how our
I've been
us
tweeting
and
at you
Smilegate.
guys
I know.
for the last
I
year
want it too. I want
asking for
that.
a t-shirt or a hat. When Saint Tone
Me
did
too.
the hat put on, and I was like, "Oh my god, I'm jealous, man! I want that
Yeah.
hat, dude.
I
Just
think that was my first question I've
someday."
ever asked Rox. That was like my first
But
interaction with her. I was
Like
like,
I want to
"Hey,
Yeah.
can I have
spend
a hoodie?"
I want to
just
spend
the
Um,
more
Mokoko,
money.
just the
So can I get hooked
yeah,
up, please?
right?
no, we're definitely
I
figuring out if that's something, because that's another
oh my,
that's
I
a
really
I
hope
think
you
it's
guys
partnership
do.
type thing, but I would love to.
The
if you
plushie, I
guys.
think instantly is gonna sell out 100%.
Oh yeah, if you guys have a store, like cover somebody like watch Laufie, make sure she doesn't spend like $6,000 in the first 10 minutes. Like
She's gonna look like a supreme hype beast, just Lost
dude,
Ark
Lost
up.
Ark hype beast.
Lost Ark hype beast. Oh my
Got the
goodness.
Lost Ark socks all the
Just
way to the Lost Ark
got that new
headband.
white tee drop they just put out with the no
Oh my
text
god.
logo. Ooh, hit different.
Uh,
No, I'm really yeah. That was something that I literally tweet at you guys every day like, hey, what does it take for me to get a sweatshirt at least? All right. I know I'm not a
I
big
have like
streamer,
one t-shirt
but
right now myself,
oh,
so I would not mind
see,
getting
yeah,
a few
man.
more.
Yeah, I've even tried going on the KR website to order it so I could be like, look at that super exclusive swag, but it was like so complicated. I
I
was like,
tried I asked Canon to order it for me.
right? I've been hitting everybody up, and I'm like, please, someone send me a T-shirt. And they're like, bro, do you know what shipping's like? I don't care. All right, I bought a Supreme microphone, so I'm okay with spending shipping on a T-shirt. Like, I love the game. I want some merch, but yeah, that's cool. Okay, I really hope that is something that you guys take back and really. Really look at because I know a lot of people would be really hyped to just wear some merch and really celebrate something.
Rox, I have a
Totally.
question for you. Which cat are you picking from the outfit? from
Oh my god.
the pack.
I think I'm gonna get the white one. I have like a black cat in real life, so I feel a little bit bad about it, but the white one is so freaking cute.
It's so cute.
It's
Yeah, I think I'm gonna
literally
go with that one
so
too.
cute.
I'll be honest. I think the black cat in real life might not know anything about it, so you'll be good. You don't have to feel
that's
bad
fair.
anymore.
That's fair.
She's gonna come home and her monitor is gonna be on the floor. And
Yeah.
she's gonna look at it,
My
like-
cat is so funny. She'll totally like watch TV or like if I have a stream or something, or like I'm playing something on my TV in the other room, she'll like sit and like watch it. So
That's
She's
I
gonna
don't
look
know.
back like
I don't know.
human.
Maybe she.
What is this?
just start slapping the monitor as soon as she sees
Right?
you open
Who
the
is
box.
this feline following me? That's not me.
People are asking questions about. Oh, go.
Real quick. Speaking of the items that we're getting in our founders packs, I noticed that that a website put up what the items look like. You guys also put up on the website what the items look like. Is there? We didn't see weapons though. Is there no weapons attached to the outfit?
There are. Yeah.
Okay, so
Okay.
there are weapons that are attached. Am I blind and not see them?
Is it for both packs? So Platinum Avatars packs get a set of weapons, and then also Northern Lawmaker.
I know Northern Lawmaker. I think they both do.
Okay.
Did
Yeah.
they? Okay, I'm
Pretty
gonna have to
sure.
look at that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't
If
see
you look at
the.
the gunslinger screenshot that
going
they put out,
insane.
she is actually holding like a black weapon that goes
Yeah.
with it.
Oh.
So
Okay.
yeah.
Okay, yeah, I'm definitely
I
gonna look
noticed-
that up because when I saw the models, I was like, where do they not have weapons, man? I want to see the weapons, but okay, that's cool. I'm gonna definitely look into that.
Is there anything available for re-editing your character in the store, or are you guys planning on giving away any tickets like that later on?
I know that like character change tokens or whatever they might be phrased, they exist. I am not 100% sure of like the service being in the store at launch. I know we're not giving any away necessarily at launch. I know people really want to like rush names and like change them. Unfortunately, like we won't be having those like right start out. But I again would have to check to see the list of things in store at launch.
Okay.
There's a question about monetization when it comes to like the transfer of like funds from Southeast Asia, or not, sorry, from South America to North America, obviously the currency exchange. Are you guys planning on keeping the monetization model like from like North American prices even in South America?
I believe at launch, like it is kind of set like across one matrix.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I don't know the intention for that in the future.
Okay. And I assume the monetization update will be released like around the time you guys are putting out the like either the patch notes or the roadmap, something
Yeah,
like
we're
that.
looking to share some information. Obviously everything's out Tuesday, so ideally it would have to
Yeah.
be tomorrow. I know that was expected a little bit earlier, but things have been going a little bit crazy, so we're gonna try to get at least something out.
Okay.
Make it my plan to get something out tomorrow.
Nice. Thank you, by the way.
You
Yeah.
gave us a lot of information today, so
This is, yeah, absolutely. And you know,
the
to kind of
subtlety of it.
let you go about your Sunday, like thank you so much for being here with us today. Like
Yeah,
absolutely
no,
unreal.
happy to be here.
We're blessed to have you. We would love to have you on again once stuff settles down a little bit, makes your day a little bit
I will
easier.
not see anyone for the next 2 weeks.
Neither will we. It's okay. We'll just
Oh yeah, true.
yeah, we'll be on monitors and looking at cameras.
Yeah, no, but like I'm always happy to join. Like I said, it's nice to like actually talk and like be in a little bit of a different medium. Like even if I can't always answer everything right away. See, it's
Absolutely.
easier on the forums when I'm like I can't answer this right now, but I'll
I
just
can't
come
do
back
this.
later. But it's different and it's new, and it's nice to like, be in this kind of space as well.
Absolutely. Make sure everybody follow Roxx on Twitter. She posts fire memes and cat pictures, and she's absolutely lovely on Twitter. Follow Rufio as well. Follow Laufie on both the streaming platform and Twitter. Like, please follow them on Twitch as well.
Thank you.
Friends, thank you. Like, I've seen the amount of follows and support in this channel, and I just want to thank you guys all. Like, please make sure you follow my co-hosts as well. They're incredible human beings, run fantastic streams. Please, please, please follow them. Anything you guys want to say? Start Laufie, go ahead.
I just wanted to thank Roxx for taking the time out of her day right before she becomes super busy. Like I know
Yeah.
if I were you, I'd be like,
Unreal.
nah, you guys do your own thing. I'm gonna have a busy 2 weeks. Like I'm sorry.
No, like,
But
happy to be
like
here.
I want to share with everybody. Like we have like a lot of viewers on the podcast right now. Like during the closed beta, Roxx has literally stayed up like late night, like DMing with me and Flip and having like helping with the bugs, communicating a lot, taking feedback directly from us. She even tried to like assist with like certain things that might have been outside of the game with the tournament. Like she was super great. Like she's honestly like, if you guys don't show her the respect that she deserves, I will come for you. I will find you.
Oh,
Oh
okay.
shit.
I'm like,
Yo.
I love you.
Have you guys heard her yell on
Bruh.
stream?
Oh my god. And
You're in
she gave
trouble.
you the Laufie stare? Oh,
Yeah.
Jesus.
Watch us.
Yeah, I'm not playing Blade. I'm changing my class for sure, dude. Wow. Oh man. So now you guys know when you guys are mean, Laufey's trolling the forums as well to be equally mean back to you. So you will not
Perfect.
disrespect our CM. All right.
No, even if there will be times in the future where I will have to give y'all news that you don't like. And
Of course.
I know that. I know it'll happen, but just know that I'm always trying to do what I can, even if I have to be like the bad, the mean parent sometimes.
So we're just not gonna do that on this podcast. We like it when you give the good news. All right.
Oh no,
Just
for
keep
sure.
doing that.
Next
Keep
time I'm
doing
gonna be
that.
like, yeah, I'll come back tomorrow, and it's gonna be horrible news, or like I'm gonna come to you guys.
Oh
I'm gonna be on your
no.
podcast, and I'm just gonna have
By the
horrible
way, we're removing the blade. And
Oh, we're adding artists.
too many
Everyone
classes.
rejoices.
we're adding artists and removing the blade. That's good. All right, you know what?
15 classes were too many, so there's only
Right?
5. We're removing them.
There's only 5.
Sorry if your character gets deleted. I
Right?
can't wait for that to be taken out of context.
Oh yeah.
Oh man.
Perfect.
Totally kidding.
Perfect. Clip it and
That's,
ship
I
it.
can see it. I can see it now. I do definitely want to say, honestly, I've communicated with you for the past like week or so, and I discovered that you can send extremely long messages in DMs. I sent you all of the questions at once. I thought I was gonna have to
I was
piece it
surprised.
out.
I think that's the longest DM I've ever
Yeah,
gotten.
it was so funny. I was talking to my fiance and I was like, this doesn't sound really weird, but I had to message her a lot. And I was like, I've never sent like in Discord. I have 2,000 characters, so I'm like, Twitter is probably gonna have a limit. And when it went through, I was like, oh, she's gonna be scrolling forever. Like, oh no, like. I hope she really gets this. But I do appreciate you opening up the opportunity to have an open discussion and for us to really just sit down with you and get to know you as a person outside of someone who's been managing the ever-growing chaos, the fun chaos, though, on the forums and the discussion board. So I definitely appreciate you for that.
Yeah.
Thank you again so much. And Laufey,
No problem.
again, we cannot express how lucky we feel to have someone of your caliber on our podcast, and Laufey for facilitating this. So it's a very great opportunity that you've given us to sit down with you, and we really appreciate you. And
Man,
we
I like
look
that.
to have you coming back
God,
again.
thank
So
God.
We're
No,
the
thank
wholesome
you. I
podcast.
appreciate it. No,
Right.
I appreciate it too. And like I said, I was just happy to be here. Like I can't do like every, time someone reaches out, I'm not always able to, but it totally worked out, and I was like, this is cool. I'm happy to be here. when I
Perfect.
can.
Thank you. Friends, who did we have anyone who wanted to pass this love train on to? I saw Zev. Any go that direction? Friends, thank you so much for joining us on Mokoko Cast 11. This will be up on YouTube Monday the let me look at the date. Monday the 7th, 24 hours from now. It's legal rules by Twitch standards. So, friends, it will be up tomorrow. I'll post it on Reddit. Thank you guys so much for joining us today. You guys were
Oh.
absolutely wonderful. Oh, go ahead.
We have one more announcement.
Oh.
Effective Friday, you'll be able to listen to the podcast on podcast streaming platforms. A little bit more details to
dude.
come. But yeah, we do have our own exciting news to give you guys.
Oh.
We are officially going audio based as well. So you don't have to, because I know sometimes watching a YouTube video on your phone and like your phone locks, sometimes you don't get the audio. So we are going to have this, and I'm really excited to start it like with the most latest episode being a community manager and being Roxx. So that's really great. Yeah, so Friday, effective Friday or Saturday, it should go out effective as audio as well as video from the YouTube and from the audio point as well. So we'll have some more information coming out from myself, DJ, or Laufie later this week, but I am excited to announce that information.
It will be live. Sorry, it's what time will it be live? 24 hours from now, wherever time you are at. You'll be able to download it. So or see it on YouTube. Sorry about that. But thank you so much, friends. Let's get the raid ready. Please get on in here. We're gonna go hang out with Zav. He was on last week's episode of Mokoko Cast. Wonderful human being, hyper knowledgeable. If you have questions for him, he loves answering questions. Unless he's currently in a ranked arena raging at everyone. And I'm just kidding. Thank you guys so much. We will see you
Thanks for
soon.
having me.
Thank you.
All right.